Of course, as soon as I press to go live, Roxy starts barking. It's how it always happens. It's how it always goes down. Alright, now we got the New Japan Cup on screen. I'm just gonna lower that a tad so that I can hear myself think, because I can't hear myself think. And we got this. I'm gonna bring this closer.
WWF, no mercy.
Alright, I just posted to Twitter. I just posted to Twitter, so let's see. I should maybe log on to Twitter, just in case anything happens while we're streaming. Because last night I was like, you know, I'm gonna skip SmackDown. I'm not gonna watch it, not gonna pay attention to it. I'm gonna do some other stuff. And then sure enough, the one night I'm not paying attention, they actually do something very important. I mean, I guess I should know. It's the road to WrestleMania. I should know better. I should know to, like, at least check in more frequently on these Raws and SmackDowns. I heard about a lot of the rumors with Daniel Bryan coming back, but I did not believe them. I thought, if anything, WWE was probably just going to let him dance a little bit in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, maybe get involved physically during the match, but I wasn't expecting a full-blown wrestling return. I'm glad that he's coming back. I mean, he had such fire last night when he attacked Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Alright, just loading up my tweet deck. I'm always so, like, just worried that when I'm doing stuff and posting stuff, it's never going up the right way. Look at Davey Boy Smith. I want to see him have one more run in WWE, honestly. Oh! Yano. Is that Yano? Okay, TweetDeck is not loading. The internet's coming in kind of slow on this laptop. I'm not crazy about it. Stream looks good though. Stream looks good. Still picking up my mic. All right, so let's start. Where did we leave off? We left off Doing the Hardcore Championship. I think I did 3 of them. But who do I want to play as in the Hardcore Championship? Who do I want to be? I think I was going with the theme of playing with people who have never been Hardcore Champion, which kind of limits my options because so many people in this game were Hardcore Champion. Was Eddie Guerrero Hardcore Champion? I don't think Eddie Guerrero was Hardcore Champion. He's kind of hardcore. Who's like hardcore but never held the Hardcore Championship? I think everyone pretty much, you know, Steve Blackman was the best Hardcore Champion. There you go. Saturn. Saturn was Hardcore Champion. Boss Man. British Bulldog. Mark Henry. Ooh, let's do Mark Henry. Hall of Pain. Getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's the only outfit they have, huh? Alright. Let's do Mark Henry. I don't believe Mark Henry was ever Hardcore Champion. And I don't get to play as the super heavyweights enough, I think. So let's do Mark Henry. Let's get this started. I don't think I did a Mark Henry Let's Play either, so this should be fun. What's going on? What just happened? Did it split? I didn't want it to split. Go back. Oh my goodness. Alright. This thing is driving me crazy. First up is Taz. Going up against Taz first. Let's do it, Taz. So I gotta win. So Davey Boy Smith, KES just won. That's where I'm at in the New Japan Cup. Got a lot of stuff going on. Keeping my eye on the New Japan Cup. Keeping my eye on the Twitch stream. Keeping my eye on Taz. What's wrong with me? So I gotta win. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I gotta lose in the 5th path. Here's Taz. He's angry. He wants to beat me up. Yeah, I don't think I played as Mark Henry a lot. You know, at this time, everyone pretty much saw Mark Henry sort of like as a comic character, you know? Sexual chocolate, very funny stuff. Don't know who that is calling me. But yeah, man, Daniel Bryan's back. Can we just talk about that for a little bit? I'm still like kind of like I was like in shock a little bit. I was like, this is not real. This is fake. Oh man, the height on that young boy. Lance Archer just destroyed this young boy with a chokeslam. Uh oh, now they're on the mic. What are they gonna say? Oh, they want the tag team championships. I mean, I wouldn't mind the titles going... Like, I like Evil and Sanada. I really do. But the tag team division in New Japan right now isn't so hot. And I was hoping that giving it to Evil and Sanada that would sort of reignite the tag team division. And then like Evo and Sanada are entering singles matches and like competing for championships and singles matches, and it's like, okay, well, why did we just make him champion? You know, I feel like with Archer and Davey Boy Smith, you could at least build a tag team division around them, because I think the general consensus is we want to see Evo and Sanada. We want to see Evo and Sanada rise up in singles, even though they're a really good tag team. You know, it's funny because like Los Ingobernables, you know, as a unit, I'm not stressed out that they don't have like a tag team in the unit. You know what I mean? Like I don't really mind like if Bushi and Hiromu are like not going for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. I don't mind that. I mean, Evo and Sanada are tag team champions now, but I didn't mind that they weren't really like actively pursuing it now, because individually they're all really great characters. So, you know, I don't mind them not going after the tag team division stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't mind KES getting it back. I was excited when they came back because I thought it was just gonna be them dominating. What's Mark Henry's? I think he does the bear hug. Which is going to be an interesting move to win. What's his back special? Full Nelson Slam. Oh, sit out Full Nelson. Okay. What was Mark Henry's? The World's Strongest Slam, right? That was his actual... Oh, look, he got it. Bam, World's Strongest Slam. There we go. I like that animation. Boom. Done. World's Strongest Slam. Here's Juice Robinson. Who's Juice gonna face? Yoshihashi's in it. Oh, here's Dave Finlay. Haven't warmed up to Dave Finlay yet, gotta be honest. He's just there. He's just floating around. Damn right Henry deserves to be hardcore champion. Juice Robinson's look is so outrageous. How are we supposed to make him in a video game? I'm sure someone's probably made him in Fire Pro World. I should check that out. I should check to see what that looks like. Juice Robinson in Fire Pro World. Here we go, fighting Hardcore Holly. Oh no, this is Crash. I got him confused. They're both super heavyweights. This is a battle of super heavyweights right now. The flamboyant Juice Robinson. When did they start adding that? Has that been there for a while? I'm just now noticing that they put the flamboyant in Juice Robinson. That's great. And just... it's just interesting. There's like Juice Robinson full of charisma, and he's standing next to Dave Finlay, who just, for me, just does not have the charisma yet. He's working on it. Maybe he'll get there. You know, I don't want to sell him short just yet. You know, he is David Finlay. He is the son of Fit Finlay, so we'll see. But I always have a theory that it skips a generation, you know? So, like, my theory is... alright, so, like, let's say you're... well, actually, it was actually... well, no, because... alright, I guess I should say my theory and shows all the ways it works and doesn't work. My theory is that if you were a star, your offspring will either be a bigger star than you or less than a bigger star than you. And I guess that's not really a theory when you think about it, because it's just like a 50-50 chance. But the way I look at it is if you were kind of like a nobody and you had a kid wrestler, then they would probably be a superstar. Or if you did something sort of relevant, they would still be bigger than you. But if you were yourself like a big deal superstar, your kid's not going to eclipse you. That's always been my theory. So Dave Finlay has the potential to eclipse his dad, because Fit Finlay is very well known. I mean, everyone likes Fit Finlay in the wrestling world, and He's got a really big following, but like, you know, he's not like superstar mainstream status levels. So the verdict's still out. Here's D'Lo Brown. You know, I didn't even think about it. I won the Hardcore Championship with D'Lo Brown, who was also never Hardcore Champion, and now I'm playing as Mark Henry. This is just a great rivalry right here for the Hardcore Championship. There are no set requirements to win this match. Bam. Oh, he wants to taunt, huh? So we got Juice Robinson, Dave Finlay against Goto and Yoshihashi. Okay, alright. Nothing we haven't seen before. All babyface teams. Yoshihashi and Kota Ibushi had a great match at the beginning of the New Japan Cup. It was the first time that I really looked at Yoshihashi as someone who can hang with everyone else. I know a lot. I know he's got like kind of like a little bit of a cult following. People really like him, and people think he has a lot of potential. I would just always nod my head and like, sure, yeah, Yoshihashi, okay, yeah, all right, whatever you say. But when he faced Juice Robinson, I mean not Juice Robinson, when he faced Kota Ibushi, that was the first time I saw it. I was like, okay, I could see it. But then again, he's in the ring with Kota Ibushi. You know, I mean, if you can't get a great match out of Kota Ibushi, you're doing something wrong. And that's not a knock on Yoshihashi. That's just, you know, I want to see Yoshihashi make me feel that way with people I don't expect him to. You know, I want to see him have that match with Juice Robinson. Just him and Juice Robinson tear it up. And it's like, I look at Yoshihashi like, oh my god, like Yoshihashi is really coming onto his own. I give him time. I think he'll make it. They're missing the rest of their Chaos members for that pose. Hardcore Championship. I'm going to bring D'Lo Brown to the Hall of Fame. So far, nothing to write home about Mark Henry's moveset. I haven't been slammed yet. Let's see how far I can go without being slammed by anyone. Really keep Mark Henry strong in this run. Boom, clothesline. Ooh, I should do. I'm just like missing opportunities. All these hardcore matches to do the world's strongest slam onto the table. What am I doing? Why have I not been? Oh, perfect. Just get right up. Put him through the table. That's the Hall of Pain right there. That's a wrap. Daniel Bryan is back. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. I don't know what to make up. I don't know what to make of it. Is this a dream? But you know, they had to do it, right? They had to clear him. I mean, he was talking. I've heard him on so many podcasts over the years. Chapter 4. I have to lose chapter 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I have to lose chapter 5. Here's Vince McMahon coming out. Uh-oh, a little more excitement. 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just as soon as Mark Henry wins, they make it 24/7. Here we go. Steve Blackman in the locker room. Best hardcore champion of all time. Steve Blackman, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up. I mean, they had to do it with Daniel Bryan, I think. So go back to Daniel Bryan. Let's get the feelings out. Let's see how I feel. I mean, all right. There's not really a downside to Daniel Bryan coming back, with the exception of it would have been interesting if he actually did leave WWE and set the non-WWE world on fire by appearing elsewhere. It would have been interesting. But WWE was never going to let that happen. I think at the end of the day, they were never gonna let that happen. So in the back of my mind, I was like, well, they gotta clear him, right? Unless all this talk of Daniel Bryan himself was just him deluding himself and going on all these podcasts and saying how he's still getting tested, how he's been cleared by everyone but WWE's doctors, and he's still trying to fight the good fight within WWE and get cleared within WWE. And it almost makes me wonder if they were always kind of biding their time. Like maybe in the beginning they didn't think that he was medically cleared. But maybe it was just then like, let's just do a slow burn. They did a slow burn before with Daniel Bryan. And realistically, it's probably better that they do a slow burn with someone like Daniel Bryan because, oh, he's got a small package. Because then you are also protecting his health, which has been a primary concern. So maybe it was always in the works to bring him back. Who knows? We'll never really know. But I'm happy he's back. I think that, you know, WWE, you know, like I mentioned, they always like to make it about the McMahon. So, of course, Daniel Bryan's big match back is probably going to be with Shane McMahon against Owens and Zayn. What I think would be cool with Daniel Bryan coming back. Everyone's excited that he's back. I gotta lose this chapter, by the way. Everyone's excited that he's coming back. WrestleMania. I think he should join Owens and Zayn. They should be a faction. They should be a heel faction. I want to see Daniel Bryan come back and be a heel. WWE's got no top heels on SmackDown. Everyone loves AJ Styles too much. Everyone loves Shinsuke Nakamura. You could say, you know, your heels are Ziggler and... Oh, I gotta lose to Funaki. Okay. Everyone's, you know... We got Ziggler, we got Corbin, we got... Bobby Roode, I guess. Come on. Counter me, baby. Counter me. Counter me. There we go. There's the counter.
1, 2, 3.
Boom. Lost that one right there. All right. New path. Here we go. New path. Henry sees Funaki. Ooh. Come on, Michael Cole. You don't want to challenge Funaki? Oh, so we get the rematch right away. Sweet. I don't remember these hardcore paths. But yeah, I think that's what's going to go down WrestleMania. I think we're going to get Shane and Daniel Bryan. And, I mean... what a great twist. If they turn Daniel Bryan heel, then that means that this was in the works ages ago. They were like, we're just gonna save it to WrestleMania, New Orleans. It really seems like they're pulling out all the stops for this WrestleMania in New Orleans, which is interesting. Maybe they're finally doing... I feel like they're finally doing a lot of what they've been wanting to do the past few WrestleManias, so they're squeezing it all into one. You know, you got Daniel Bryan's return, you got Cena, Undertaker, you got Reigns and Lesnar, which probably will end with the Shield beating up Lesnar, putting him out of WWE. You got Nakamura and AJ Styles. It's shaping up to be a pretty... You got Asuka against Charlotte. You got Bliss versus Nia Jax. You're gonna have the Usos and the New Day probably in a 3-way with the Bludgeon Brothers, which finally gives all three of them their kind of WrestleMania moment. There's that bear hug. It's shaping up to be a pretty solid WrestleMania. You got Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, against Triple H and Shane McMahon. I'm not gonna lie, this WrestleMania is stacked. Stacked. I think it's gonna be pretty good. They're going all out. Are we gonna get any 5-star matches? Who knows? But I think we're gonna get a lot of cool moments this year's WrestleMania. But Daniel Bryan, man, when he was attacking Owens and Zayn last night, just the fire in him was incredible. Boom. Oh, Juice got out of that. Boom. Big elbow. Pat Patterson. I don't want to face Pat Patterson. First blood match. Okay. I don't think Henry has any moves that I can just cause first blood with. Oh, Juice Robinson pinned Goto. Let's do it. Let's give Juice Robinson the shot at the Neverweight. Awesome. That'd be cool if Juice gets the title. Or at least gets a title match. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to beat Goto. I think Juice is going to have a great G1 this year. I think he's going to have some pretty upset victories in the world of New Japan roster. When I mean upset victories, what do I get? Give me something good. What is that, a bat? I could work with a bat. Boom. Nice wooden bat. Which I don't think anyone's really ever used in wrestling, a wooden bat. Oh, there we go. Bam, it's over. First blood. Just like that. I am plowing through this Hardcore Championship with Mark Henry. Nice. All right. Look at this. So it's all over with Mark Henry. Just like that. Just gonna, unless they make this a handicap match, which I might struggle, but I haven't been slammed with Mark Henry. Oh, is this gonna be a 4-way? Yep. Oh, I love 4-ways. I love fatal 4-ways. It's my favorite. Look at this. Look at this roster right here. This group. So the only thing about these tournament days is that they usually don't put anything else on the undercard that's as exciting as the tournament matches itself, which I guess makes sense. But it is the finals, you know, maybe put a tag team match. Put a tag team championship match, unless they do have that and I'm unawares. But, you know, fly the Young Bucks in. Oh, they're not the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions, but do an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match or something. Again, that could be on the card. I haven't looked at the card. To avoid spoilers, I do not know who's going to win. My money's on Zack Sabre Jr. Did I get slammed? Oh, I didn't pay attention. I think I got slammed. By Funaki. Of all people. Yep, I'm going to get slammed right now. Pat Patterson. Uh-oh, I'm getting slammed. This is big. Henry hasn't been slammed yet. Now he's getting slammed right at the end. Getting a taste of his own medicine for the Hall of Pain. Who do I want to face off in the end? The way I do 4-ways is I'm like, alright, who do I want to face at the end? So let's get Patterson out of here. I don't want to face Patterson at the end. Let's get Patterson. Blackman's looking at me because I attacked him. I didn't mean to, Blackman. Just, you attacked me first. What is that? Los Ingobernables against Suzuki Gun? Alright. It almost seems like they're keeping Naito cool for a little bit. And then probably at the end of the year, they're going to bring him back into the main title scene. I don't see him just like hanging out in the background the whole year. So probably he'll have like a great G1. Maybe he'll win the G1 again, back to back. I don't know. It's too early to predict who's gonna win the G1. I am just getting tossed around this match. That's not good. That's no bueno. Oh, come on again. Here's Sanada holding both titles. What a pal. What a buddy. Is it full strength? No. Where's Evil? What's Evil doing? Pat Patterson is countering everything I throw at him. I'm dead. He killed me. You definitely play as a handicap when you choose a super heavyweight. Look at me, I'm back. I'm fresh. Boom. So they're not full strength. Boom. Alright, let's get it back. Let's get Patterson back. For beating me up. Boom. 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 Funaki's just taunting. Bam. There we go. Get out of here, Funaki. Funaki I can get rid of. I can get rid of Funaki. I don't think that's going to be enough to put him away. Let's do a full Nelson slam. That should be enough. Let's see. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to see if Funaki was being worked on. He kicked out.
1, 2, 3. Eliminated.
Oh, Patterson's out of there. Sweet. Good job, Blackman. He did the dirty work for me. Uh-oh. What's he doing? He's going up top. Let me get out the way. Let's see. Let's see. The strength of Mark Henry. Los Ingobernables. Honestly, I usually skip these intros, but I'm in a match right now, so hopefully I'll finish the match before they all get into the... By the time they get into the ring. Oh, I should let Blackman pin him. Alright, or maybe I should attack Blackman. Take him out. Yeah, I'm going to turn on Blackman. Take him out. Boom. Take out Funaki. Full Nelson slam. Boom. What are you doing, Blackman? Turn it on Blackman. Boom. Let me take out Funaki. I wish this was a powerbomb pin. That'd be cool. Oh, Blackman's angry. Rope break. Rope break in a four-way. Come on. Was that always a thing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Not good. Plan backfired. Plan backfired. Suzuki's just going to fight all of them himself. There we go. Boom. Double team. Let's pin him. Pin Funaki.
1, 2, 3.
So I guess they're gearing up for Naito against Suzuki, which should be a really good match.
1, 2.
Kick out. I'm not gonna lose to those weak knees. Here we go. Here we go. Let's send them out. Bam. Boom. Strongest man, baby. World's strongest man. Hall of Pain. Hall of Fame. I do not care about anyone from Suzuki Gun except for Taka Michinoku and Minoru Suzuki. I just don't. Just don't care about them. Bam. Think that's going to be enough? I don't know. I want to make them feel the Hall of Pain. Boom. That's it. It's a wrap. That's going to be enough. That's going to be a win. He kicked out? Are you serious? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Huh. Huh. Bam. Can't believe he kicked out because I gave him 2 power slams before. I'm gonna power bomb him. Put him through the table. That's what I should do. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I wonder why they just didn't do 5-on-5. I guess because maybe Tai Chi wrestled, but no, Taka could have been in it. What's going on? Where's Evil? Oh, Naito. Naito against Suzuki. Starting it out. Damn, man. Suzuki's so good. You want to talk about age in wrestlers and the longevity. Just look at Minoru Suzuki, man. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Boom, but it's not hardcore rules, right? Let me see. No, it's not. Damn it. Get in the ring, Blackman. Oh, sweet. Yeah, run. Perfect. Now this is a wrap. Now that's a wrap.
1, 2, 3. Eliminated.
Alright, Mark Henry, hardcore champion. Add it to his resume. Hall of Pain, baby. So I am almost all done with just the challengers side of the hardcore championship. Whoa. I love how they keep their shirts on when they wrestle, so like people could buy the shirts. Makes sense if you think about it. There's Sanada. Alright. Wow, that only brought it up to 26%. Oh my goodness, the hardcore championship is so long. Alright. Who else? Who else? Shawn Michaels. I'm not really in a Shawn Michaels mood. Who else? We're looking for people who could have been hardcore champions but weren't. Test? Test was a hardcore champion, I think. Right? You know what? I'm going to look it up. Stevie Richards. But see, I want to make Stevie Richards. But I think Steven Richards was hardcore champion. Stevie Richards was definitely hardcore champion. Yes, I think, yeah. Now I'm remembering. I wonder if I could make Hiromu in this game, in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. I don't know, he's got such unique moves, he does. That's always the hard part about making like current wrestlers in these games. It's their moveset. Yeah, it was the only title he held in WWE, was the hardcore. What about Test? Let me just pull up the hardcore list. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they're fighting on the ramp. They're fighting on the ramp. Oh, big kick. Test. Test. What's going on? Type it. Oh my goodness. This freaking thing, man. Test was hardcore champion. Okay. Oh, he beat Boss Man. Damn, man. Who didn't hold the hardcore championship? Taka Michinoku could be hard. No, he was hardcore champion. Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero. They didn't hold it. I should do it with Dean. Dean's hardcore. We'll do the hardcore championship with Dean Malenko. I think. The Rock, Benoit, Jericho, Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle was hardcore champion. I don't believe Dean Malenko ever was. I'm gonna see. No results. Yep, I'm gonna do Dean Malenko. Cause I can. Cause Dean Malenko's the man. So, oh, this is a complicated one. I gotta win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And then 6, which is say yes. Okay. So win the first one. So I gotta lose every other one. Alright. That's fair. That is fair. S.A. Rios. This is like a rematch from my light heavyweight championship series. Excuse me, I had to drink some water. Oh, he dodged the calf kick. He saw it. He saw it coming. So with Dean Malenko, I gotta make sure I work the leg, because once I hit that cloverleaf, I want them to tap out right away. Trading blows with S.A. Rios. I could justify Dean Malenko being hardcore champion, because, like, you know, he was in ECW. He's not necessarily hardcore, but with weapons and stuff, but, you know, he's hardcore in the sense that he's a great wrestler. Oh, man. He's serious. He's serious about wrestling. He's like a hardcore gamer, someone who's serious about it. That's what makes him a hardcore wrestler. He's serious about wrestling. Dean Malenko. When's Dean Malenko going into the Hall of Fame? I just wrestled as Mark Henry. Mark Henry's going in. Dean Malenko's got to go in. Dean Malenko was the anchor of that WCW Cruiserweight division before the Luchadors showed up. And then when they showed up, he was the one that kept them all grounded, no pun intended. with his style to go against their style. It was great. One of the best technical wrestlers of all time. Great matches with Eddie Guerrero and Benoit and Saturn and all these people. He's part of the Malenko family, so he's got that going for him. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, especially like with all the stuff he's been doing behind the scenes. He's got an armbar. Okay. See, I wasn't working on the leg, so I'm probably not going to be able to do this right away. But I'm going to go for it anyway. Cloverleaf. Here we go. Right in the middle of the ring. SA is going to tap out. I mean, no, he's not going to tap out. He's going to kick out because he's not going to get to the ropes in time. Let me see if I can do it again real quick. Nope, didn't have time. That was on me. Did not work the leg enough. Give him a tiger driver. Boom. There we go. You always gotta be careful too, because you don't want them to tap out to something that's not your finish. That's why I like to do the submission holds outside. Here comes Naito and Suzuki. So they're gonna face at. I'm guessing it's gonna set up them at Sakura Genesis. That should be good. I think they should unify some of the titles. They got too many titles in New Japan. I get them having the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Okay, that makes sense. You have a secondary main title. But then they have like the Never Open Championship. Oh, hey Michael. Maybe Dean will be in the Hall of Fame next. It is awesome. Mark Henry is in the Hall of Fame. Mark definitely earned his spot. Mark is an awesome wrestler. Mark Henry is an awesome wrestler. You know, I think the problem sometimes with, you know, super heavyweights, if you will, with big guys, is that they usually get underrated for how good they are in the ring. And I always thought Mark Henry was pretty good in the ring. Yeah, his Hall of Fame nod is well deserved. It's a shame he just couldn't get that one last big run, you know, because of injuries. But you know, everyone, he got the world talking when he slammed Cena. He faked his retirement. It's just unfortunate that after that he couldn't quite continue that momentum because of all the injuries. But I think he's had a great career. He's got a lot of respect. And yeah, I'm happy he's going in. I just finished, I don't know if you saw, but I just finished doing a Mark Henry run with the Hardcore Championship today. Earlier, right before I started the D. Malenko. But I think D. Malenko should get in. I mention it every year. He's one of my favorites. But I think he's another one. Like Mark Henry, he's got a solid career. He's got a bunch of... Yeah, D. Malenko was never, you know, a world champion or anything like that. But, like, I think D. Malenko was someone who... It was definitely influential in wrestling. So I would like to see him get in because of that, because of his contributions. You know, he's just a solid wrestler. And, like, solid wrestlers shouldn't be forgotten, you know? But Mark Henry, it's so cool that he's getting in. That was definitely one of my big highlights. You know, the Hall of Fame class is a little weird this year to me. There's not a whole lot of people that I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm glad Ivory's getting in. I think that's cool. She was definitely my favorites. I did my Let's Play on Ivory recently, and I talked about her getting in. Pretty cool stuff. Goldberg's getting in, which is a given. You know, I'm not the biggest, you know, fan of Goldberg. I definitely liked him back in the day, you know, when he first came out. But then over the time, you know, I just kind of grew out of the Goldberg phase. But it makes sense that he gets in. Jeff Jarrett was interesting. You know, it makes sense that Jeff Jarrett got in. I was never a fan of Jeff Jarrett, you know, as a wrestler. Definitely did not, you know, care about the stories I heard about him, you know, behind the scenes. But Mark Henry was definitely underused. For a long time, even before he started doing the Hall of Pain. I think he was just being underused for a very long time before that. And like I said, you know, I think he would have gotten more World Championship runs if he didn't start getting injured, you know, towards the end there. But I think he could have definitely gotten another World Championship run. I would have liked him to see get a WWE run, a WWE Championship run, you know? That would have been great. But I think the injuries kind of like stopped a lot of the momentum that was beginning with him. But you know, it's just another example, and I think that's maybe why he's getting into the Hall of Fame. It's just an example of like WWE just sleeping on guys, you know? And I think Mark Henry was definitely a guy they slept on for a long time. You know, in the beginning he was young, he was green. But you know, after like 5 years or so, I would say, when he was with WWE, you know, he was pretty solid. He was pretty good. He learned pretty quickly, I think. Alright, so I lost to Bull Buchanan. I had to lose that one. Now I gotta win the next one. But yeah, it would have been that would be a great like topic for like a what if. Like a what if, you know, Mark Henry didn't get injured, and what his second World Championship run would have been. That would be really cool to explore and to look at. But I think the injuries held him back, unfortunately. You know, and you know, with the bigger guys too, like it's harder for them to have a really long career. Oh look, Hiromu and Bushi are fighting the Desperado and Kanemaru. Up, Roppongi 3K. Here we go. It's gonna be a three-way. I was just talking about it in the beginning, how they need to fight for the championships. I got New Japan World in the background when I'm streaming, so I'm watching the finals of the New Japan Cup. Catching up, trying to catch up. There's so much wrestling to catch up on. It's like you gotta have wrestling on all the time now. So I gotta win this one, right? Yeah, because I just lost the Bill Buchanan. Tag team. Why are we doing a tag team match in the Hardcore Championship run? I don't get it. Dean Malenko and Taz, they have history, I guess. They were both in ECW. I don't know if they ever fought in ECW, though. They might have. Yeah. I think, you know, speaking of Hall of Fame, I think Taz can get in. I think Taz can get in. Who else in this game should get in? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of obvious people. The Rock, Kurt Angle, Undertaker. When all is said and done, No Mercy is gonna have a really, really great roster of Hall of Famers in it over the years, for everyone getting into the Hall of Fame. Taka's in my own personal Hall of Fame. But I don't think he'll ever be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I was there at what was it, Night of Champions? I think it was Night of Champions when Mark Henry won the World Heavyweight title. That was in Buffalo. And I went to that pay-per-view. And I was like one of the few people cheering for Mark Henry against Randy Orton. It was great. And because I was never, I'm just not a fan of Randy Orton either. Like I know everyone loves him, everyone loves Randy Orton, but I never saw it. I'm just like, all right, whatever, Randy Orton. You can like him if you want. I was just never a fan. And I was like really like, oh man, it'd be so cool. Like Mark Henry's got so much momentum right now. And then like the package they showed beforehand, like the Hall of Pain package, just got me so hype. And I was like, this is it. I feel it. He's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat him. And when he won, I just jumped up in my seat, and the crowd was just like kind of quiet. They were like, what? Mark Henry? And I was like, it's a Buffalo crowd too, so it's like they were like not expecting it. And I was just so excited that Mark Henry won. I was like, yes! I was like cheering, and then the fans started booing. And I was like, nah, man. Hall of Pain, let's go. Mark Henry. You know, and I think, you know, I think he started winning people over after that. I think he started really winning people over after that. You know, the world title does a lot to change perceptions sometimes on some people. And I think, you know, with maybe like a more casual fan, you know, when a wrestler holds the world championship, it does make you look at them a little bit differently, you know. But I was there for that, man. I'd never forget it. That was really cool. I think Triple H fought CM Punk that night. I think John Cena fought Del Rio. Or do I have that reversed? Yeah, I think that's what was also going on that night. I forgot. But I was there for Henry winning. I thought that was really cool. Looking forward to his speech. But who else? Did I leave anyone out? Kid Rock's going in, which is whatever. The celebrity inductions are just kind of getting annoying, in my opinion. But I get it. I get why they do it. But whatever. You know, it's the whole entertainment aspect of WWE. Here we go. I'm just gonna see if I can just win with this Tiger Driver pin. Ah, come on, Taz. Yeah, I mean, again, in 2006, Mark Henry. Oh yeah, in 2006. Yeah, earlier. Okay, hold on. I have my years reversed. Yeah, that would have been a good time to put it on Mark Henry, because when did he fight Undertaker at Mania? Which Mania was that? What year was that? Because that was around the time that I was thinking, like, all right, what are you doing? Why doesn't he have the championship yet? Let me look that up. It was, because that was good. That's an underrated match too that people sleep on, is Mark Henry Undertaker. Was that 2007? Or was that 2006? That was 2006. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would have been a good time. That would have been a good time. And that's what I'm saying, man, is they slept on him earlier than when he finally got the title. And then unfortunately he started getting hurt. And I think it's because they slept on him so long, you know? WrestleMania 22, 2006. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would have made a lot of sense. That would have made a lot of sense with Batista coming back. And yeah, because I remember watching that casket match and just thinking like, okay, let's go. Let's put it on Mark Henry, because that I tell people too all the time, like, you know, when Undertaker always comes up in the conversation and like WrestleMania matches, I'm always like, remember that casket match he had with Mark Henry? That was really good. And again, it's like, it's something that only like someone like Mark Henry's size, like you gotta put him in. That's why the Hall of Pain gimmick works so well, is because pin, submission, hardcore. Okay, I gotta lose this match. to Dean Malenko. Speaking of Mark Henry, I made him hardcore champion. Now I gotta lose to him. You gotta put them in situations where they can excel. You know, like look at Braun Strowman today. Like Braun Strowman, you know, he's wrestling. He's like doing all these crazy stunts and stuff, like, you know, tearing down Titantrons and flipping over ambulance trucks. Mark Henry, when they started doing the Hall of Pain and started making him like this monster, it's like, yes, like that's what you should have done with him a long time ago. And I get it, when he first came in, he was green, he was young, he wasn't that great of a wrestler. But once they started putting him in that position, I felt like they should have kept him in that position And we went a really long time where he was just like kind of like, yeah, he's a threat, but not really. It's like, no, he should always be a threat. You know, a guy like that, a guy who can like bend, you know, full cast iron frying pans in his bare hands and like rip open locks and stuff like that. Like he should be billed as a monster, you know, and put him in matches where he can excel at. And, you know, something like a casket match where really, if you think about it, it's just two big guys kind of just like throwing each other around. And I think that's a match that he excels in. You know, he was in an elimination chamber. I think they could have used him in more elimination chambers. Again, as being as like a destructive force in there. Yeah, man. But, you know, at least he's in, you know? At least he's in. He, you know, I think, you know, I want to do, on my channel, I want to do, like, what if scenarios, right? Like, you know, sort of rewrite history. I think Mark Henry is definitely, you can cover many subjects with Mark Henry. Many what if scenarios with Mark Henry. Because there were so many moments where you could insert Mark Henry and just do things a little bit differently. And yeah, that would have been a good year to do it with 2006. And yeah, Mark Henry and Batista, like that would have been a good feud over the title. That would have been cool, man. See, now I want to go back. Now I want to go back and create like a list of like essential Mark Henry classics. Because he's another one, too, that I think that, you know, people sleep on with his matches. Like, there's a lot of stuff in his career that you can look at and say, this was great, this was good, this was great. A lot of great moments. But trying to get him, can't really get him to reverse anything into a pin. Because he is a super heavyweight. So I'm just throwing strong grapples, hoping he'll reverse them. What I should do is I should try to slam him and then not slam him. And then that'll boost his meter up. Right? How much did that boost his meter? I didn't see. Oh, come on. Oh, now it backfired. I didn't want to slam him down. Darn it. Alright, I'm just going to let him beat me up. How about that? Just beat me up, Mark Henry. There we go. You almost had me there. Perfect. And he doesn't have any pins either. He's got the power bomb, but he doesn't got like a power bomb pin. Big 3-point stance. There's Chucky T right now. Let's see. We got Chucky T and Okada against Chase Owens and Kota Ibushi. All right. Yeah, but who else? I think that's it, right? That's everyone we covered in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Pain. This year it's the Hall of Pain. This year it's the Hall of Pain. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett's going in, which, whatever. I was never a fan of Jeff Jarrett. Who else? Ivory. We said Ivory. Goldberg. I think that's it. I feel. Oh, Hillbilly Jim, which is cool. You know, that Hillbilly Jim is getting in. You know, the one thing I remember as a kid, you know, with Hillbilly Jim was obviously his stuff with Hogan, teaming with Hogan and stuff like that. Never been really too familiar with what Hillbilly Jim did outside of WWE. Oh, the Dudley Boys. How could I forget the Dudley Boys? Dudley Boys are going in. That's well-deserved. Dudley Boys, I mean, that's a no-brainer that the Dudley Boys get in. There's Mark Henry, Hall of Pain, beating me up. Only because I let him, though. Let's be real. I only let him win. Here we go. My Mark Henry run that I just did was really fun. His moveset's okay in this game. Do you have any fears that you can suddenly be attacked? Well, it's gonna happen right now. Spoiler. Alright, so I gotta win this one. I gotta win this one. It's just a regular hardcore championship match. And yeah, the Dudley Boys, I mean, they're the most decorated tag team of all time. Which is crazy. They've won it everywhere. They've won WWE. They technically won the WCW titles because they won it when it was in WWE, ECW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, IWGP. They've done it all. They've done it all. You know, Dudley Boys used to scare me back in the day. When I used to watch ECW when I was younger, Dudley Boys used to legit scare me because of the stuff, the fights they would get with the fans, and how intense Bubba would get, screaming at the fans, cursing the fans out, and I'd be like, oh my god, he's gonna start a riot. And apparently they did start riots. You know, I've listened to some podcasts over the years, and the Dudleys would talk. You know, Bubba would talk about some stuff, and you know, and like some of those house shows, they would sort of start fights with the fans, like real fist fights with the fans. And you know, I think they always set like the template, and from watching them, they always kind of set the template of what a heel tag team should be and what should look like. And you know, at the time things were changing, so like when you were becoming a heel and doing crazy heel stuff like that, eventually the fans started cheering you, and especially when they got to WWE, and like, you know, they're putting all these women through tables and they're getting cheered, and it's like, all right, well, they're kind of not supposed to be booed, but whatever. Like, you guys are getting the, you know, mixed messages here, but I always loved their work in the ring. You know, they always made other teams look great. You know, and I think that's the mark of great wrestlers, honestly, is if you can make your opponents look really good. And the Dudley Boys were really good at that. They were really good at, you know, having matches with Edge and Christian and the Hardys, and you know, and ECW, RVD and Sabu and all these people. And it's like, they always seemed like they were this dominant force, but at the same time, it's like the stuff they would do and the stuff they would let their opponents do to them, it was great. You know, I liked them so much for a very long time. I was confused when WWE tried to break them up a little bit, when they all of a sudden split up Bubba Ray and Devon. I thought that was weird. But when they went to Impact, I liked them in Impact a lot, and the stuff they would do. They had some really good matches in Impact that I think people don't talk about. But then when Bubba started having his solo run, that was really good too. But yeah, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. There's just like certain people, certain tag teams, you just like, yeah, they're a Hall of Fame team. They're a Hall of Fame team. They're great. Had to make Mark Henry tap. Going for his weakness, the legs. Chapter 6. I think I have to... What do I have to do in Chapter 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I have to lose Chapter 6. So who's going to attack me? Is it going to be Taz? Gerald Briscoe. I don't want to lose to Gerald Briscoe. Ugh, whatever. Gotta lose to Gerald Briscoe. I wonder if Jared Briscoe can counter anything I got. You gonna do anything? You gonna do anything? Counter it. Counter it. Yeah, he's not gonna counter anything to Hurricane Rana. I'm trying to think what I could do so that Gerald Briscoe can just beat me quickly. I don't want to draw this out. Oh, yeah, maybe he can counter this to Schoolboy. Let me try that again. He'll probably counter this into a schoolboy if he breaks it. Or if he just keeps letting me do it. Come on, counter it, counter it. There we go. Ab stretch. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Oh, Chase Owens with the close pin on Okada. Yeah, the Hall of Fame class is interesting this year. They got some good highlights. I'm looking forward to it. I think WrestleMania in general is looking really good this year so far. A lot of strong matches on the card. I guess this would be Undertaker's last match for real. Even though I thought too that last year was his match, and I thought he was gonna go in this year. But you know. Hashtag just kidding. Undertaker. Undertaker did a JK kidding, everyone. So we're going to get him and Cena. But then I guess that would mean that Undertaker would get it next year. He would be the marquee lineup next year for Undertaker. There was rumors this year that Bam Bam was going to go in. The Bam Bam was going to be like, their post-inductee. Which they didn't do. They actually don't have any post inductees this year, which is interesting. But I think Bam Bam should get in. I think Bam Bam was great. He's definitely Hall of Fame worthy. Another underrated big man, just like Mark Henry. Another definitely underrated big man that was very influential, like Mark Henry. Bam Bam Bigelow. I would love to see him get into the Hall of Fame. See him get honored. Vader's another big man. Another super heavyweight that needs to get in. I think that's a no-brainer. I thought he was going to get in this year. I thought they were going to put Vader in this year. To think about it, I'm surprised that they didn't put in Henry last year, because last year... Was it last year they were in Texas? No, they weren't in Texas last year. Hold on, I'm sick of this. So I gotta say yes. I gotta accept this challenge, right? I think that's what I have to do. Say yes. Yep, say yes. Alright. So we avoid that match and we go right to the finals. So here we go. The big final. Dean Malenko against Gerald Briscoe. I wish you could choose. If I was making a wrestling game and you would do a career mode, a story mode, I would let you choose what wrestlers appeared in the game to fight with, so you can avoid situations like this where you're fighting Gerald Briscoe for the championship at the end. I do not want to fight Gerald Briscoe at the end. I think this year is the last match for Undertaker and Cena. I think so too. Why they didn't do it last year, who knows? I mean, they're just so committed with Roman Reigns and wanting to have him be a thing. And I get it, but I mean, I think last year should have been Undertaker Cena. I'm glad that they're finally doing it. It's going to be interesting what kind of match they do because, let's be honest, age-wise, the years haven't been probably as kind to Undertaker as they have Cena. But on the other side, I think it's going to be a very old-school WWE match, and I think it's gonna be much better than people probably realize, because you're gonna have Undertaker, who's a legend, and he's really good at those old school WWE style matches, and you're gonna have John Cena, that's always been his bread and butter, and he's been showing lately that he can hang with a lot of new style of wrestling that's making its way into WWE. But I'm excited about that match. I know a lot of people aren't. I'm excited about that match. Even if Undertaker's old, whatever, you know, like I don't think age really matters depending on how good you are in the ring. And there's still a lot of stuff that Undertaker can do in the ring. And it's gonna be all about psychology, man. It's gonna be all about psychology and telling a story. I tell you one thing, it's probably gonna be way better than Lesnar and Reigns. I think Undertaker and Cena is gonna be a way better match than Lesnar and Reigns. You know, the one thing that saved Lesnar Reigns the last time was Rollins coming in. And I think they might do something like that again this year. I think they might have like the Shield come in and sort of like help that match out. But yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the last match. And you know, I mean, Kid Rock's going in this year. Maybe he'll come out as the American Badass. That would be kind of funny. I thought he was going to be the American Badass. You know when I thought he was going to be the American Badass? When he fought Bray Wyatt. Because Bray Wyatt stole his power. You know, they were doing that whole stupid thing where it was like, he was calling the Undertaker out, and then he like stole his urn and stole his power. And he's like, you don't have your power now. And I was like, oh, is he stealing his power? Maybe he'll come out as the American Badass. And he didn't. And now that Kid Rock is getting in, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is like a perfect setup for American Badass Undertaker. Because maybe last year it wasn't, you know, quote unquote, the Undertaker putting his hat in the ring and stuff because he's retiring. Maybe it was like, you know, the dead man gimmick was retiring, but he still has one more. He still has the American Badass gimmick. And so I could totally see him coming out as the American Badass on his bicycle. I think that would be kind of cool, because then it'd be like you retired Undertaker the dead man last year, and now you're retiring Undertaker, you know, the wrestler, this year. So I think that would be really cool, actually, if they did that. You know, I kind of always had a soft spot for the American Badass gimmick, not gonna lie. Always loved when he came out on the motorcycle, and especially when he first debuted at like Judgment Day. That was like so cool when he came out on the bicycle, the motorcycle, not a bicycle, but a motorcycle. And that ramp is so long in New Orleans, like it's just perfect for him to come out on that motorcycle. I was hoping Briscoe would tap right there, but he didn't. Now he taps. Ah, oh well. It's Briscoe. Whatever. I beat Briscoe with Dean Malenko. That's all that counts. So now we are up to, I got the New Japan Cup in the background. And finally got up to Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. I don't know the results yet. I haven't spoiled it for myself. But my money's on Zack Sabre Jr. My money was on him or Ibushi the whole tournament. And they actually met in the second round. And I was saying whoever would win between Ibushi and Sabre is going to win the whole thing. So I'm glad that Zack Sabre Jr., but you could still do a lot with Tanahashi winning. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, Michael. I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. Or, you know, if you got things to do, that's cool. But I'll just be right back, all right? Alright, I am back. I'm back. All right, so we got one more path that needs to be done for the challenger side of the Hardcore Championship. Gotta lose a lot. Well, I guess I don't have to lose that much. I have to lose 3 matches, just like I did with Dean Malenko. Any requests? Any requests on who should I play as next for the Hardcore Championship, so I could close the challenger path out? Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. in the background. I'm excited for this match. I got a Hiroshi Tanahashi call I've been working on for Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. I'm probably gonna debut that on my channel. Are you subscribed to my channel, by the way? I don't know if you came here. I have a YouTube channel, Be Better Gamer Wrestling, where I play a lot of these N64 wrestling games. I'm going to be debuting my Kazuchika Okada call probably, hopefully tomorrow I can get that up. And then I'm starting work on my Tanahashi call. Kind of like this outfit right here, his black outfit. But yeah, let me know if you have any recommendations for who you want to see me play as next in this Hardcore Championship run. I was thinking, I've been going like kind of like you know, choosing people who haven't been Hardcore Champion and just kind of messing around with that. But if you wanna choose someone who has been Hardcore Champion, that's pretty fine too. I don't mind. I can play with anyone. I'm not picky. I should play as Chyna. I should play as Chyna in the Hardcore Championship. That'd be kind of cool. Eddie Guerrero was never Hardcore Champion. Who else was never Faarooq. Was Faarooq ever Hardcore Champion? You know? Let me see. Faarooq. No? He wasn't. That's interesting. I know Bradshaw was. No, Bradshaw was Hardcore Champion. So what do you think? Any suggestions, Michael? Because I'm thinking I might believe Faarooq. Maybe his acolyte gimmick. Doesn't have the tattoos, though. I gotta put the tattoos on him. Why don't they have the tattoos? It's in there. I'm gonna put the tattoos on Faarooq. Is it upper body? Do you have to buy it? Armbands. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where is it? Do you have to buy it? Is it something you have to buy? Here we go. Here we go. Biker Ropes, Chaz. Tribal 2. Wait, did they take the acolyte tattoos out? I could have swore they were in this game. Yeah, that's right. He was the American Badass when yeah, he was the American Badass when they met the last time. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. I think it'd be really cool. And it would be like a full circle thing. It really would. Yeah. Ah, it makes even more sense now. I forgot about that. Because they did meet when, like, Cena was, like, just coming up, right? When he was, like, a rookie. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I'm all for it. That's going to be my prediction. American Badass. I hope they kind of save it. I mean, you know, they're doing this whole thing where, like, Cena's coming out. He's talking trash. Like, oh, Undertaker's not returning my calls or whatever. which is kind of lame that they're doing it that way. But I guess maybe they're doing it that way to make Cena come off as a jerk. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it that way. But yeah, I hope they save it. I hope it's like, you know, maybe it isn't until the last Raw Undertaker comes out and it's like he comes out on the motorcycle. That'd be cool. Yo, I could have swore the Acolyte tattoos were in this game. Did they take them out? And maybe I'm just making it up. Wow. No, it has to be in here. APA. Oh my goodness. Did I just imagine it? I have like a memory of like it being in here. I guess I'm confusing it with WrestleMania 2000. Cause it doesn't look like it's in here. It's not in the sleeves. Others. Armbands. Fitness. Look at that. Oh, I guess I just imagined it. Alright, who do you think I should do the next one with? Hardcore Championship. Cause I'll probably just choose, I kinda wanna choose Faarooq. But if you got any, does Faarooq sound good? Hardcore Championship? I wanna go with Faarooq. Let's do Faarooq. Bam. You know what would be so like this whole thing that like Cena's doing where he's like calling out Undertaker, right? Let's do this. Let's brainstorm this. So he's calling out Undertaker. He's making jokes. He's cracking jokes. Next week on Raw, he comes out and he starts rapping. Okay? He starts rapping about Undertaker. And that'll make people who've maybe forgot when him and Taker met, you know, that'll make people the tribal tats. Yeah, but you know, I could have swore they were in the game. I thought they were in the game. I know they're in WrestleMania 2000, but I thought they kept them in No Mercy, but I guess they didn't. Oh, Godfather coming out with his cane. I gotta give him his cane. I haven't bought it yet. I gotta lose this first match. Was this a regular hardcore match? Or can I use the thing and get disqualified? I didn't look. Oh no. Stop it, Godfather. I think it's a hardcore. Nope, DQ. There we go. Perfect. DQ and hardcore championship. But like he should come out, Cena should come out and like rap, do a rap about Undertaker. You know? A battle rap. And then Undertaker would come out next week. After that, his response would be, is this game telling me how to play because I lost? That's funny. Use strong grapple on your opponent more than 10 times to win. Oh, I gotta do a tutorial. I like how now I gotta do a tutorial match because I lost in the hardcore championship. That's so funny. I don't remember that. So, oh, now I gotta keep count. Gotta keep count of the strong grapples. But I think it's gonna be good. I think the entire WrestleMania card looks good so far. There's not really anything on it that I'm like, nah. I mean, I'm not interested in Reigns and Lesnar, but I think it makes sense. It's a match that makes sense. Um, you know, there's a few people that I kind of wish were around. Like, you know, I wish Samoa Joe wasn't hurt. You know, I wish. Who else? You know, I like the this is one. I gotta keep count. Yeah, Cena coming out as the Thug Doctor. Yeah, that'd be funny, man. I mean that'd be funny, but like it would make sense. It would make sense, and I think it would give the feud sort of like that nostalgic feel, you know, like again, like the whole, like you said, like coming full circle. You know, playing on this sense that what these two have accomplished, and this being Undertaker's retirement match, just like with Undertaker Shawn Michaels, you know, like Shawn Michaels was already the legend Shawn Michaels. I know a lot of times people say like, oh, you know, if you're retiring, you should like maybe put a young guy over or up and comer over, and I don't necessarily prescribe to that theory. You know, like it has to be done like that all the time. I mean, I think you definitely should help elevate certain stars when you leave, but if you have like a good story that you can tell between two veterans, like tell it. And I think the story between Cena and Undertaker can be compelling. I hope they step it up a notch, because yeah, like if they do something like him coming out, you know, doing his whole like, you know, thugonomics kind of thing, that would be kind of cool for this feud. But I kind of would like to see some sort of response from Taker, you know, to that before WrestleMania. You know, I don't want it to be like a Bray Wyatt situation where we don't see him at all until WrestleMania. You know, and I get the last time we saw him, you know, yeah, I don't know. It would make sense. It would just make so much sense with him putting everything away at last year's WrestleMania, everyone thinking it's his last match, and then he's the American Badass. Like, that would be so cool. Zack Sabre Jr. is turning it around on Tanahashi right now. What is that? Number 6? 6 strong grapples? Seven strong grapples. I'll probably do like an extra 2 or 3 to just be safe with the strong grapples, just in case my counting was off. Because I think that's 8. 8 strong grapples. 9 strong grapples. Let's do one more. I think my dog wants to go outside. You want to go outside, buddy? Okay, and then boom. He's got a German suplex as his back special. Okay, alright, I'll take it. Whatever. Boom. Oh, that's a knockout. What else? What other WrestleMania match? We got, obviously, we got the one everyone's looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to. We got Nakamura and AJ Styles. I think Nakamura and AJ Styles is probably going to be the best match of the night. Obviously, Daniel Bryan's return, which is like such huge news. Like, come on, like, that's such a big deal. This WrestleMania is looking really good. Alright. What's going on? Why is Shawn Michaels trying to teach me how to play this game? I gotta lose this match, though. The irony is that I gotta lose this match. Can I get DQ'd? I didn't check. Oh, he's coming after me. Oh, he blocked it. Trying to get DQ'd. This is a pretty good match so far between Tanahashi and Sabre Jr. I've been keeping my eye on it. Oh, there's no DQ. Alright, well, Let me see if I can get him to... I think he'll do a Hurricanrana counter. Nope. He does that counter. Okay. Interesting. Didn't mean to do that. Maybe... Nope. He doesn't counter that. Maybe he can small package when I do... But yeah, what do we got? We got Bryan. It's gonna be Bryan and Shane McMahon. I was talking about this earlier. It's gonna be Bryan and Shane McMahon against Owens and Zayn. Right? That's clearly what it's gonna be. Wouldn't it be cool if Daniel Bryan turned on Shane McMahon? I think that would be great. Because here we are. We were waiting all this time for Daniel Bryan to get cleared, and then he's a bad guy now. Now he's with Owens and Zayn, and he's got this chip on his shoulder, just like they do. Oh man, I would love it. I mean, if it doesn't go that way either, like whatever, it's great that Daniel Bryan is back. You know, I can't really complain about that. But like, what a great twist that would be, because this WrestleMania seems like there's just too many like happy endings. You know, like too many happy endings. Asuka's gonna beat Charlotte. You know, that's just a given. I could see Nia Jax beating Alexa Bliss. Honestly, I could see Nia Jax winning. I could see Braun Strowman and whoever ends up being his partner winning. I could see Roman Reigns is obviously gonna win. Cena's gonna beat Taker. Nakamura, AJ Styles could go either way. I'm rooting for Nakamura because that would just be such a historical moment. But AJ Styles winning would be great also because it's AJ Styles. So there's a lot of happy endings in this WrestleMania. So I think a non-happy ending would be Daniel Bryan turning heel. I think that would be great. The Miz against Balor and Rollins could go either way. Kind of want the Miz. Kind of want the Miz to win that one. Yeah, I mean, the signs are all there. The signs are all there for a American Badass return. I think we could lock it in. I think that could be our prediction. I mean, that's going to be my prediction. American Badass return. Cena. Undertaker. I don't know if they'll go like full thugonomics with Cena. I think, you know, but I think they'll definitely highlight the fact that, you know, who Cena was before he became the Cena is now. I think they'll allude to that and maybe like the package reel we get, the promo package. Here we go. Oh, Tanahashi. Oh, nice. I'm watching the Tanahashi Sabre match, and Tanahashi just did a nice pump handle slam onto Zack Sabre Jr. They've been wearing the crap out of each other. It's really good. I've been keeping an eye on it. I'll probably re-watch it just to catch all the little nuances that I might have missed while streaming. But so far, I'm liking what I see. Zack Sabre Jr. is so good. Tanahashi's a legend. I want to see Tanahashi against Cena. And I think Nakamura and Cena, they need to go at it again. I think when and if Nakamura wins that championship, I want to see him face Cena in a championship match. Because I think there's a lot of potential there. I think they had a really good match, that SmackDown, when they fought. You know, I know they wrestled a bit on the house shows, so they probably are you know, a little familiar now with each other. But talk about dream matches. I want to see Tanahashi against Cena. That would be incredible. I forgot the Usos. It's probably going to be a three-way. Usos, Bludgeon Brothers, and New Day. That'd be cool. That'd be a good match. I would open with that match. That'd be my WrestleMania opener. Let them have their moment. Well-deserved moment. Finally, put them on the main card, too. I wouldn't put them on the pre-show. Wouldn't do any of the pre-show nonsense. Come on. HBK is taking forever to beat me. He needs to hurry up and beat me already. Tanahashi with one of... speaking of D. Malenko, Tanahashi with one of the best cloverleafs in the game. So good. I love the way he sits in on that cloverleaf. Oh, he's got Zack Sabre in it. Oh, he's walking away from the ropes. This is getting good. Look at that arch. Zack Sabre, the escape artist. Come on, Sean. Beat me. Beat me, HBK. HBK is taking forever to beat me. Okay. Tap. I wish there was a tap out button. If I was making a wrestling game, I would put a tap out button in it. But then again, I probably wouldn't make paths where you would have to lose. Or, I don't know, maybe I guess that makes sense because then it opens up the paths more. I would probably do like more so certain requirements. Like you'd have to win a match a certain way and then it would open up a different path, you know? Like win it under a certain amount of time. Here we go. Finally beats me. I don't even know. I don't even remember which match this was. This was the third match. This was the third match, so I gotta win the next one. I gotta win the next one, lose the one after that, and then I could win the rest. It would be interesting if Jay Lethal signed to WWE and joined New Day, considering he and Woods were a tag team. So, funny you should mention that. I was actually brainstorming an idea with a friend of mine the other day about Jay Lethal coming in to the WWE and joining New Day, but because Big E left, because Big E turned on them. Because I think that and then Jay Lethal would join with them for a little bit, but then Jay Lethal would turn on them as well. Because Jay Lethal's Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal's great, man. I love Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal's so good. I would love to see him in the WWE. And, you know, there's not a lot of guys that are out. I mean, I should say there's a lot of guys out there right now, non-WWE, in Impact Wrestling, in Ring of Honor, in New Japan, in Lucha Underground. There's a lot of guys that I look at it like, I don't want you in WWE because I don't think they would know what to do with you. But I think Jay Lethal would actually be really good in WWE. I think he would fit so well. He gives me... This is going to be like an interesting comparison, but I get a lot of like Chris Jericho vibes from Jay Lethal. Like someone who can just kind of like do everything, but still the essence of who he is doesn't really change all that much. Like I know he had different gimmicks and stuff starting out, but those gimmicks were like mostly thrust upon him. But like who Jay Lethal is now and what he is as a wrestler, I think would just fit so well in WWE. And I'm not just talking about NXT. Like obviously he would kill it in NXT, but like WWE main roster, I think Jay Lethal would do so well. I think he would do so well. I could see him, you know, especially with someone like Styles as the champion. I could see Jay Lethal being, you know, feuding with Styles over that title. You know, like that would be so good. Taker to return at WrestleMania with a 2018 reboot of his American Badass gimmick with a new remix of Limp Bizkit theme tune, Motorcycle Down Huge Ramp. Well, I mean, I think it has to be Kid Rock. I think it has to be Kid Rock because they're inducting Kid Rock. And Kid Rock did have one of the themes for Undertaker. Even though I gotta say, the Limp Bizkit, you know, Rollin', when he used to come out with Rollin', that was my favorite before they switched over to the American Badass. with Kid Rock, even though I like that one also. I like that song also. I think it's just a give me right. It's a give me right there. If you're inducting Kid Rock, you gotta remix Kid Rock. To remix Limp Bizkit when Kid Rock is right there, I don't think they would do that. But I mean, I wouldn't complain if they did that. I think that would be good too. Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta let my dog back in. But yeah, Satama, that's what me and Michael were discussing earlier. I think it's got to be Kid Rock, because Kid Rock's going in the Hall of Fame. But I mean, I think it's all, and it'd be cool if they do a remix. It'd be cool if they do a remix, like if they didn't just use the same song. I gotta lose this match. So I gotta lose this match, 5th match, and then I can win the rest. I don't know if I mean, I haven't really been like, looking out there, looking around to see what everyone's been thinking. But I'm all in on this Undertaker American Badass return. Come on, counter, counter. Yes. Boom. All right. Saturn's countering everything. Good. Maybe he'll actually win this match fast. Saturn is like my favorite wrestler to play as in this game. So much fun. He's got a great moveset. And it's Perry Saturn. How can you not love him? But yeah, going back to Jay Lethal. Yeah, how great would Jay Lethal be in WWE? I think that would be great. And I could also see him starting his own thing. Like, he doesn't necessarily have to come in with the New Day. I could sort of see him starting his own thing, starting his own little faction. I see him the leader of a group. I see him the leader of a group. I don't see him being added to a group. I think Jay Lethal can definitely hold his own, sort of stable. Jim Ross giving me advice. It's so funny that this is the path that teaches you how to play. Boom. Oh, he caught the kick. He caught the kick. It's gonna do the drag. Oh, no. Ooh, there it is. Love that bridge. This match, I'm definitely going to have to rewatch the Zack Sabre Tanahashi match because I've been keeping an eye on it. And I haven't been really commenting it on too much. I've been talking about WrestleMania talk. But this match is really good. Saturn and Moppy. Man, you want to talk about people that were underused. Okay, I know we were talking about how Mark Henry was underused earlier. How Dean Malenko, all these people. Saturn was so underused. Saturn is so good. I love Saturn. I have a really big spot in my heart for Saturn. He was one of my favorites. He was one of my favorites, and he really did get the short end of the stick. No pun intended with that Moppy. But that, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing people remember him by, and it's just like, but he was so good though. Like, why do we have to remember him, being with Moppy? And it's such a shame, all the stuff in his personal life that has happened after that. And where he is right now with his issues and medical issues and things like that, because he was a really phenomenal wrestler. The matches he used to have with Malenko, with Guerrero. Yeah. I play as, he's my main. When I play No Mercy to win against other people, I play as Perry Saturn. He's my main. Just Taker appearing amongst the smoke on his motorcycle. They could do like a combination. They could do a combination. They could do the gong, like just how it was. Like I just think about how it first was when he first started coming out on the bike. It was sort of like this hybrid of, you know, old Undertaker and you know, this new American badass, this new badass Undertaker. They could sort of do that hybrid. You know, they could have like the gong and like the music, and then all of a sudden it breaks in. It breaks into it. That would be cool. A little combination. Maybe he has like an outfit that's like sort of like like I used to love it when he used to have the big trench coat. That was always really cool. Yeah, man, I'm all in on it. I just want to see him. You know, they've been doing these WrestleManias with these hella long ramps. I just want to see someone ride down on a motorcycle. Like that would, like, I'm not even like a fan of motorcycles. Like, I would never get on a motorcycle. Motorcycle scares me, you know, to ride. But like to see someone come all the way down, like, you know, whatchamacallit, Triple H, he came in with his like little motorcycle escort, and that was all right. It was a little too much because I didn't like the sirens going off and everything. Like, I thought that was a little too much. But you know, just coming down. Wow, what a sling blade! Zack Sabre looked like his head came off with that one. That would be cool. I think he could, because I think he could still pull it off, because, you know, with Undertaker, when he was the American Badass, his style switched over to a more brawling style. So I think that would make even more sense to have him come back in that gimmick, because he would brawl. He would just brawl the whole time with Cena, and they could like maybe spill out into the crowd. Like, it could be intense. Like, I think of the match he had, you know, with Ric Flair. That was very old school, you know, 80s brawl style, where they were just punching each other the whole time, you know. And that's what the American Badass was. Even with his matches with like RVD, you know, they were pretty much that. Yeah, they have like a lame instrumental version of it that you have to actually switch. You have to actually switch it. Yeah, they have, you know, it's funny because like the music that he has, so he's the American Badass gimmick in this game, and the Titantron they have is the American Badass, but then he has like this default music, and you actually have to switch it to his like American Badass music, but it's not like the official one. It's like a weird instrumental one. And it's not mentioned in the copyright, so I'm pretty sure it's probably not. It's like maybe just like a knockoff on it. It's not like an actual, like, this is an actual recreation of the song. Oh, these counters are crazy right now with Sabre and Tanahashi. That's so good. Sabre's gonna win it, man. Sabre's gotta win it. He's rolling him around. Am I gonna get it before Matt? Oh no, Matt got there in time. Yeah, I mean, like, you could do a false count anywhere. You know, we were talking about it earlier. I think it would be cool if we had confirmation on a Raw before. I prefer that. I prefer for confirmation. Just because it adds more to the feud. It makes me want to keep watching it. Because, you know, I don't want to have that moment like all of a sudden, oh, and now up next, Undertaker versus Cena. And it's like, oh, yeah, Undertaker and Cena, that was going to happen. And then, like, all eyes are on, like, what Taker's doing. Up. Yes. Tanahashi tapped. Sabre won it. I knew it. Called it. I knew that was going to happen. I got to rewatch the match, though, because I was, like, watching half of it. But that final sequence was looking really good. Yeah, I mean, I would say, so they did the whole stupid Reigns Undertaker thing to this week. So you could do it next week. You could do Undertaker Cena next week. And then get back to the Reigns Lesnar the week after. So I think, yeah, I think next week would be the time to do it. I want to see him on Raw. I'm tired of this, like, Titantron stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, we were talking about it. We were like, you know, Cena should come out and start rapping. Like, Cena should come out and start rapping, calling out Taker, and doing, like, maybe a little Taker rap. And then the lights go out, and then the gong. But then you hear, like, the motorcycle revving up. You hear the music, and he comes out, and he circles. And he should just get in the ring and chokeslam him or something. But, you know, they just did the chokeslam thing with Kane. So it's like, is Kane going to have a match with Cena next week? They could do something where, like, Cena and Kane faces next week, right? At the main event. Like, that would be the last match, Cena versus Kane. And then Cena will beat Kane because, you know, he beats Kane. And then we could see, then Taker would come out. I haven't been a fan of the Raw promos with Cena, honestly, because I think they're kind of childish. You know, I'm not a big fan. So Cena's great on the mic, but there's like a Cena promo where he comes out and he just basically starts insulting, like, his opponent's manhood, like, oh, you're not a man, you know, like, he makes all the innuendos, like, oh, you don't have the balls to face me, Jack. And it's like, it's so high school, you know, it's so like, you're bigger than that, you're John Cena, you know, you're a pretty big deal, we all know who you are, you don't have to resort to these very, like, childish insults, like, oh, come be a man and step in the ring. Like, I would have liked it more if, like, you know, Cena was very real about, you know, the legacy of the two and why he wants this match, you know, because going into him like, oh, there's not a spot on me on WrestleMania, which, you know, you kind of roll your eyes, you know, there's always a spot for your WrestleMania, but it's like going into it, he was talking about, like, you know, if he's not wrestling for a championship, what is he wrestling? If he's coming towards the end, he's like, what is left for him to accomplish? And I think if they kept it more so along those lines, I would have enjoyed his recent promos better. But, you know, I think they're doing it. Yeah, like Michael says, I think they're doing it to sort of get you to boo Cena. You know, like, why is Cena, like, goading Undertaker like that? Why is he calling him out like that? And I think, people are going to boo Cena regardless. You know what I mean? And especially against The Undertaker. People are going to boo Cena against The Undertaker. So I think you have to, like, kind of find a way to make it so, like, you're not cheering for them both. Like, you're just cheering for Cena. But it's a little far-fetched, I think, the way he's been doing the promos. Yeah, like you said, Satama, I think his choice of words could have been a little bit better. I mean, they're both grown-ass men. Not only grown-ass men, but they're both legends in wrestling. You know, it's not like it's two up-and-comers, you know, or it's not like it's an up-and-comer. Like Roman Reigns, when he was calling out Undertaker like that, it made him come off as cocky and arrogant because he's like the new kid on the block. You know, like, oh, this is my yard now. I'm more of a man than you are. You're all washed up. You know, it made sense with Roman Reigns doing it, because he is the up and comer, he is the younger one. But with Cena doing it, it's just kind of immature. But Cena does that a lot sometimes, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why. You know, there's times when he's on the mic and you're like, oh, this is amazing, he's great. And then there's times when he's on the mic and it's just like, come on, Cena, like, you're bigger than this. But I think they're pushing it. I think they're pushing him to be a little bit more out of character with Undertaker, because I think they do want people to be on Taker's side for the match. Yeah, and that's the thing too. If he is channeling, if this is all just sort of a step for him to channel the Thugonomics back, I think that'd be great. Like, I think it'd be great if, like, you know, he just cuts a rap promo on Taker right now. Like, I think that would be awesome. Yeah, it's. I mean, you know, it's. That's the good and bad of the WrestleMania build-up. You know, is that there's only so much time to build a feud, especially with a match like this. It was sort of the same situation when Taker was fighting Lesnar a few years back, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, now Lesnar's facing Taker, and we have like 3 weeks to build it up. You know, and you know, but they wanted to have those matches with Cena at the last, you know, Elimination Chamber and at Royal Rumble. They wanted to have those matches. And then so now all of a sudden it's like, well, we got to jump into this because WrestleMania is going to be here before we know it. And especially since they only have Cena on Raw. Well, they did have him go to SmackDown, but, you know, it seems like now more so they just have him on Raw. There's not a whole lot of time to build the feud. Which again, I think that's what strengthens the method of Cena not taking the childish approach. You don't have to build a feud like this in a short amount of time. If you did hype up the fact that what's at stake, the history, the legacy, and things like that. What point on the card do you guys think Cena and Taker will be? It's got to be semi-main event or main event. I mean, well. So it's like the whole Rock Hogan problem. So when the Rock Hogan was the third to last match, they put a buffer match, right, which was the women's match that no one remembers, you know, and it wasn't even like that memorable women's match, but it was still a historic women's match at that time. And then the last match was Jericho Triple H, and the crowd was just exhausted. This is going to be a WrestleMania that's going to be like 10 hours long. You know, like with the pre-shows. The pre-show is going to be 2 hours. The event itself is probably going to start at 7. And it's going to go for 4 hours minimum. Last year's, WrestleMania, when all was said and done, was like 6 hours. So you got to believe it's going to be like another 6 hours match. Not match, but WrestleMania. It's probably going to get the loudest... I honestly think it's probably going to get the loudest response of the night in terms of just fan reaction of them being in the ring. And I think that's... And the fans are going to do their whole thing like they always do with Cena. They're going to do the Cena sucks, Cena, you know, let's go Cena. But then they're also going to do like let's go Taker. And I think that's going to really exhaust the crowd. So you have Daniel Bryan's return. You have Lesnar and Reigns, which is also going to get the crowd excited, especially if they throw in the Shield, which I think they will. You're going to have probably some really, really good wrestling matches before that, like Asuka, Charlotte, like the New Day Triple Threat Tag Team. So it's tough. Where do you put that? Because like the crowd's gonna be so burnt out. I don't know if you want to put it semi-main event, because let's say Nakamura and AJ Styles is the main event. Then it's like, you know, for the first part of it, the match, the crowd probably won't be there for them because they'll probably be so tired. You know, whereas then if you put it at the main event, it's like, is the crowd already going to be too burnt out? Or are they going to come alive because of it? You know, and then to have Taker main event 2 years in a row, I think is like kind of fitting though for his career. Like I think he kind of deserves that. And I think that Cena Taker should have been a WrestleMania main event. You know, it should have been a WrestleMania main event. So I could see it being the main event. I think I would probably put it as the main event. But, you know, it wouldn't make sense with everything that Cena was talking about. And it would kind of be messed up with like, oh, I don't have a match on the card. And if I don't get a championship match, there's nothing for me to do on WrestleMania. And then it's like, then he gets Taker and then he gets the last match. So it'd be kind of messed up in that sense. In comparison to the other champions. I don't know. You know, you could put it at the top of the second hour. But I think that would be too soon, maybe. I don't know. It's tough, man. A lot of the matches this year can go on last. I think Lesnar Reigns should not go on last. I think that's the easiest one to say that shouldn't go on last. Out of, like, you know, all the matches. And then you also got to take in consideration the tag team match with Ronda Rousey. That shouldn't go on last. That shouldn't go on last. That should be like in the Rollins Triple H slot, like how it was last year. Man, it's tough. It's tough. Because, like, my heart says Nakamura and Styles should be last. But my brain is kind of like, yeah, but Cena Taker, though. Like... Yeah, you know, I think that's another thing too. I think if the fans, because last year we didn't know what match was last. Last year we didn't know Taker Reigns was going to be the last match. That was, you know, and as the night was going on, it was like, oh, okay, we're doing this match. Oh, okay, it's this match now. And then once you got to the second to last match, obviously it was like, oh, okay, so Taker Reigns is going to be last. Okay. So they'll probably do that again this year, I think, where they won't announce the lineup. And I think the longer you keep Taker Cena from happening, maybe the crowd would be like, oh, we got to kind of save our energy for Taker Cena. But they're going to come alive, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, you got to put a match that at the end of the night, the crowd is going to come alive for. And Taker Cena, I mean, I think the crowd will come alive for Nakamura and AJ Styles, definitely. And especially if they put on like a clinic, if they put on like a 5-star match, which they most definitely can. But Cena Taker is like that guaranteed, like, oh, the crowd is definitely going to come alive for this at the end. You know, Lesnar Reigns, I'm not too sure about. I'm not too sure the crowd will come alive. You know, it might be a whole nother situation where they just boo Reigns. And it's like, I don't know if WWE wants another WrestleMania where they're hearing a bunch of unnecessary boos. You know, where they're just trashing on the match, where they're cheering other wrestlers' names. The last thing you want, because this is what's gonna happen if they put Reigns and Lesnar last. You're going to get Rusev Day chants. You're going to get Braun Strowman chants. You're going to get Perfect 10 chants. You're going to get Nakamura AJ Styles chants. You know? Taker to win. Oh, Michael agrees. Okay, Michael agrees. I don't know. I mean, my brain says Cena wins. My heart says Taker. Because especially if we're going to do American Badass, right? So he's going to have the motorcycle. So he rides out in the sunset. You know? He rides out like that cowboy in the sun with the sunset. Taker Reigns was boring. Taker Reigns was boring. And that for me, I like Roman Reigns. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's the best. I think he's good. I've always liked him. I've always kind of been like, you know, disappointed that like they've put him in the position he is for the fans to react the way they do against him. But his match against Taker told me he wasn't ready, because he couldn't make that match special with Taker standing right next to him. You know what I mean? Like, even if you go back and watch the Taker Lesnar matches, were all pretty good. Especially the later ones. You know, the WrestleMania one was probably the weakest one of the three, but even that one was still compelling and good. And obviously, it had the big win with Lesnar at the end. But they were still really good matches. And Lesnar, Taker and Reigns wasn't a good match by any means. There was nothing about it that like made you think like, oh, this is a good match, you know? And I don't know, for me that kind of like, you know, that kind of told me like, yep, like I think they're just giving Reigns too much too soon. Will he get there? Yeah, he'll get there eventually, I think, to have these like big epic main event matches. But you know, like Triple H Reigns was boring too. And that was coming off of, you know, and you can't say it was Triple H because that was coming off of Triple H and Daniel Bryan having probably Triple H's best WrestleMania match. So, you know, it takes two to tango, and especially if you're gonna have two main event players. That's why I think Taker and Cena is gonna be really good. I think Taker and Cena is gonna be really good, which is another reason why I probably would put it at the end, because it would be that that classic WrestleMania main event. Yeah, I mean, you know, it could go either way with Taker winning. It could go either way with Taker winning. My heart wants him to win, because if we're going with the whole he rides in on the motorcycle, you can't ride off on a motorcycle defeated. Right? Like you can't, that's like, you know, you're like riding off into the sunset like a horse, you know, like what he did last year was fine. The way he lost last year and the way he exited last year, that was fine, you know? Him taking off his robe and his hat and all that stuff, that worked. But if you're coming in on a motorcycle, you can't lose. You just can't lose. You gotta ride off. Everyone's gotta cheer. They just gotta ride off. But then you could do it. But see, then you could do, if you're doing the American Badass and you have him win, you could not have it be the last match. You know? You could not have it be the last match. Yeah, I don't know. Cause he's lost to who he lost to? He lost to Reigns, Lesnar. You know, it would make sense that he loses to Cena also at WrestleMania, you know? It would make sense that he would lose to Cena, and Cena would get that win, and then that would probably, spoiler alert, that would probably set up Reigns and Cena for next year's WrestleMania, which I guarantee you that's what the direction they're going. Guarantee you they're going in the direction where Reigns is going to get the championship, Cena's going to get his Undertaker win, and then all that's left is for Cena to get that final, that world record win for the championships. And I could see it being him against Reigns. I mean, they don't have to do that at WrestleMania, but it would make sense that if Cena wins, because he couldn't win the Rumble, he couldn't win the Elimination Chamber, but he could beat Undertaker at WrestleMania, so that would line him up for a title shot. So I could see that. I could see that being the logic also. If we take the whole Undertaker's last match thing out of it, if we take that, and you know, if this one truly is his last match, which is what we were all saying last year, if this truly is his last match, theoretically that means he has to lose. He doesn't always have to lose. You know, you don't always have to lose this if your last match, but that's generally how it's done. Most of the time you lose your last match. So I don't know. But see, that's what makes it exciting. You know, I remember a few years back I was having this conversation with a friend of mine where we were talking about Cena and Undertaker. And I was like, Cena needs to fight Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, this was like, I think right after he lost. I was like, he needs to fight Cena. And then my friend was like, well, that's too predictable. I was like, what's too predictable, the match or the outcome? And he was like, both. And I was like, no, just the match. Just the match is predictable. They need to meet. That's predictable. But when you're thinking about the outcome, it's not that predictable. It's not that easy because there's so many things that go into it. And I think that's what makes it exciting. You know, and even to this day, even with everything that's happened since Undertaker's streak ending and all that stuff, trying to figure out how you do a Cena Undertaker match, there's still some sort of unpredictableness to it, which I think makes it exciting, you know?
1, 2, 3, pinfall.
To be honest, I think Cena Undertaker should have been Lesnar versus Undertaker. Maybe Cena, I mean, you know, what would have made more sense if Cena beat the streak would have been a Cena Undertaker rematch. That would have made more sense. Like, you know, like how they did, you know, Michaels and Undertaker and Triple H and Undertaker. Cena Undertaker, I think definitely did warrant 2 WrestleMania matches. And who knows? They could still maybe do that. Maybe next year we will get, if Taker beats Cena, we could definitely get Cena Undertaker too. Especially if it's a really good match and if Undertaker stays healthy, you know, and if Cena stays healthy too. I always like the idea that Kane should be involved in Taker's last match. Maybe Kane will interrupt or somehow. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because my idea of Taker's last match, and it'll probably never happen, but it was something we were actually talking about earlier with Mark Henry being a casket match. It's sort of along the lines. My idea of Taker's last match was always a buried alive match. Where he would lose, he would get buried alive, and Kane would be involved somehow. Kane would try to help, but obviously he you know, something would happen, you know, and he like Kane, you know, let's say if his last match was against Bray Wyatt, you know, and then Kane would come out and help him, but then like the Wyatt family came out and fight Kane, you know. So I always imagined that Taker's last match would have been a buried alive match, and Kane would be involved somehow in that match. Not against him, but just like sort of trying to help out. But I think, I think Kane is gonna face Cena this Monday, and yeah, I think you have Kane there to lose to Cena, so you don't have to have Kane at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, I think you have Kane and Cena, so you don't need Kane at WrestleMania, because I think a lot of the times, especially now, is that when you do an Undertaker feud, it's like, oh, where's Kane in all this, you know? So instead of having people think that Kane is going to show up at WrestleMania, you get it out of the way now on an episode of Raw, so you don't have to have that in the back of your mind while you're watching WrestleMania. Yeah, well, you know, never say never in wrestling, right? I thought last year was his last match. And I remember I would talk to people, and people would be like, I don't know if it was his last match. And I'd be like, that was his last match. He did his thing where he put his coat on, took it off, left it in the ring. It was the main event. It wasn't a championship match. It was his last match. And then here we are 1 year later. You know, here we are 2 years later, Daniel Bryan is wrestling again. Never say never in wrestling, you know. Shawn Michaels might come back next year for all we know. You know, it's just like now I can't honestly say this is Taker's last match until Taker says, yeah, that was my last match. Because I just don't, you just never know now. I honestly, when I heard the rumors that Cena was going to call out Taker and that they were doing this whole build up because this was going to be the year that Cena was going to take on Taker, I was like, no way. That's not going to happen. That's just rumors. Cena's going to take on Samoa Joe. You know, like, that's what I was thinking. Like, it was going to be something else, you know? But here we are. And yeah, I think, you know, Kane should be involved somehow. So if they do decide to continue it after what Cena does with him on Raw, you know, like, yeah, sure, cool. You know? I could see Cena losing to Kane because of Undertaker. That could sort of be Taker's answer. You know? Kane fights Cena. Cena called out Taker. And instead of Cena just steamrolling Kane, I could see Taker coming out to help Kane win. You know, just to piss Cena off. You love the buried alive match idea? Yeah, I've had that idea in my mind for a long time, because ever since Taker lost, every WrestleMania was kind of like, oh, okay, well, is this going to be his last match? Is this going to be his last match? So I always had that, because as a kid, that's what I always associated Undertaker with, was, you know, I saw him come out. I wasn't there live, but I saw him make his debut at Survivor Series, you know, as a kid. Like, that's my first memories of Undertaker, was watching that event on VHS, you know, and like being a scared little kid, like, who is this guy, you know? And then him having the body bag match, him having the buried alive matches, him having the casket matches. That's always been, and he's the only wrestler that I think can bridge the gap of what wrestling kind of used to be and to what it's become now, that an Undertaker buried alive match, like, people would be into it, you know, like, because people wouldn't roll their eyes like, oh, buried alive, you know, whatever. Like, I think people were like excited, like, oh yeah, buried alive, Undertaker, like, because it just brings up all that nostalgia. And, you know, what a way to have him lose. Another reason why I would want it to be a buried alive match is because then you could beat the Undertaker, you know, and the thing they did last year with him bowing in the ring, but it humanized him. It's like, that's Undertaker, the human. That's Mark Calloway, the wrestler, saying goodbye. Whereas Undertaker losing in a buried alive match, it's like you're killing the myth. You know, you're defeating the myth. And then they could do the thing where they strike the lightning, and his hand comes up, you know, and then like it blacks out. You know, like, it's just like something like, that's the way he came in, is the way he leaves. It's just as this mythical person, you know? Yeah, I just think he's just a larger than life character. I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again for a long time. Not saying that it'll never happen again, because I think that wrestling still has room for it, especially, you know, with the stuff you see in Lucha Underground, with a lot of the fantastical elements they bring in. You know, if Bray Wyatt ever gets his act together, you know, maybe we can get more along the lines of that fantastical stuff again, especially with, you know, with Matt Hardy, what he's been doing. So I think wrestling still has room for fantastical characters, but the level of mythology that Undertaker has become, I don't know if you'll ever get an opportunity like that again. So you could go both ways. You could, as much as it would excite me to do an American Badass Undertaker, I think it'd be really cool. You know, you could also do regular old school Undertaker again. But I kind of wanted, you know, and it's been a while since we had, I think the last gimmick match he had at WrestleMania was the casket match against Mark Henry, which what we were talking about earlier on. Why am I facing... Oh, because I'm Faarooq. I was confused for a second. I was like, wait a minute. Why am I facing Devon? I'm supposed to be facing the APA, and I forgot that I'm Faarooq. So they just put in Devon. That's funny. Oh, man. They should just put the Dudleys in then. Why, you know? Oh, well. Dudleys, Hall of Famers. It's amazing that in a WrestleMania where, and this goes to show the power of, you know, people like Cena, the power of people like Undertaker. In a WrestleMania where we have just announced Daniel Bryan's return, which is a huge deal for me as too, you know. In a WrestleMania where you have Nakamura and AJ Styles, where you have Asuka and Charlotte, where you have the New Day even, and the Usos, which I think is also something that should be celebrated, them making their way on a WrestleMania match. The fact that Taker Cena can still grab so much attention, you know? I think that's just incredible. There's still time, Taker, to bring in a stipulation. Yeah, there is. Yeah. Oh, I mean, they could do career versus career. They could do career versus career, buried alive. Like, because especially with all the stuff that Cena's been talking about lately, while how he knows he's in the twilight of his career and he doesn't know, like, it would make so much sense for the Cena character as much as it would make sense for the Undertaker character, because we're definitely entering the age where, yeah, we should be, like, Cena should be looking at how he's gonna tie up his career. Not just because he's getting old, but the dude's done it all. The dude's done it all, and you don't want to, it's the whole thing. It's like, do you want to burn out or fade away? How do you want to go out on top? You look at some of the notable send-offs that some people had, and it's like, with everything that Cena's done, I wouldn't blame him if he wants to go out in a memorable way. You know what I mean? So, for him to have these maybe final few things to knock off his list before it's all said and done, I think it would make sense to put himself in a position where you talk about that, where you tease that, and especially with someone like the Undertaker, who everyone thought his career was over, for Cena to call him out and say, well, you know what? I'm gonna do what everyone thought, what Roman Reigns couldn't have done, and I'm gonna retire you. I'm gonna actually legit retire you. There's gonna be no, ends, ifs, or buts about it. It's gonna be me. I'm gonna be the one who does it. And then, yeah, Taker can throw in the stipulation and be like, all right, well, you know what? I'm not ready to be put away. Just because I lost to Reigns, just because I lost to Lesnar, doesn't mean I'm gonna lose to you. I know I can beat you, and I'm gonna bury you. I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna do a buried alive match. And, like, how cool would that be? I don't know. I think there's a lot. There's so many ways you could do it. There's so many ways you could do it. I don't think there's, like, one right or wrong way to do it. I mean, there's probably wrong ways you could do it, but I don't think there's, like, one right way you could do it. I think there's so many different ways you could do this match. But if they do buried alive, and that's the only stipulation, it's very clearly telegraphed that, actually, I don't know. If you do career versus career, I think maybe it's more telegraphed that Taker's losing. So maybe they won't need career versus career, because I think that's too telegraphed that Taker's losing. Where if they keep it open, and if they do a stipulation, then if anything, if they do a buried alive match, and they don't do career versus career, then they kind of keep it open that Taker could win it. Because in a straight 1v1 match, one-on-one, regular rules, Cena has the advantage, right? But if you do a stipulation, and they can't do, I wouldn't want them to do Hell in a Cell or anything like that. It would have to be like a casket match or a buried alive match. Then the odds fall back into Taker's favor. And especially if they keep a stipulation, a further career versus career out of it, then you'll start to think more that Taker could win or would win, Yeah, there's so many ways you could do it. I love this part about WrestleMania hype, because you want every WrestleMania to be the best WrestleMania. That's not necessarily always the case, but that's what you always wish, because it's the biggest night. It's the biggest night. It's something that's been ingrained in so long in our history of being a wrestling fan and being a WWE fan. You want the WrestleManias to be big. You want the WrestleManias to be memorable. So brainstorming and thinking of all the different things that could happen, that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of it. Yeah, I just hope they don't. I just hope they don't do something too crazy that messes it up. Because like I said, there's not a right way to do it, but there's definitely wrong ways to do it. Like I think of like Sting Triple H. Like, that was a wrong way to do it. Like, the match itself was okay. It was fun. But for Sting to lose, that was a wrong way to do it. You know, the right way would have been for Sting to win. See the battle royals. Oh yeah, the battle royals are definitely on the pre-shows. Definitely. Rusev should win the Andre. Especially if they can't get him onto the card, which it looks like they won't be able to, unless they squeeze him in like in the U.S. heavyweight feud, which would be good. But I think the battle royals are definitely pre-show. You know, I don't know who's gonna win the women's battle royal. Honestly, it's got to be Sasha or Bayley, right? I'm thinking with the whole feud they're kind of doing. Not the whole feud, but they're sort of building up to Sasha and Bayley going at it. Maybe starting a program. Maybe we'll see them do a big match in SummerSlam because, you know, they have the history with TakeOver Brooklyn and having the great matches there. So if they're not going to be on the card proper, which it doesn't look like they will, I could see Sasha or Bayley winning it and them being like the last two. And you already had them sort of, you had Sasha eliminate Bayley at the regular Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble. So you could do Bayley eliminating Sasha at the Andre Battle Royal, or you could have Sasha eliminate her again at the women's Battle Royal, and then actually have Sasha win because Asuka's not there. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be Orton, Rude, and Mahal, which I honestly like. I love Rude. I'm not crazy about Orton or Mahal. That's a pre-show match. Honestly, that's a pre-show match. You swap. So the past few years they've been putting like the tag team championship matches on the pre-show. If they even did a tag team championship match, I would say put the U.S. heavyweight title match at the pre-show, because honestly, like, there's no heat there. There's no excitement there. I like Bobby Roode. I think they should have brought him in as a heel right away. I think that but you know, I think next year is going to be Bobby Roode's year. I think there's just a lot of other stuff going on right now, so he doesn't get the focus. But the odds of Charlotte Flair winning, I think, are slim. I don't think it's like impossible. That could be like the WrestleMania shock. Is Asuka losing? But I don't see it. Again, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. There's not a right way, but there are wrong ways. That's the common thing. There's not a right way, but there are wrong ways. And to have Asuka lose in her debut WrestleMania, I think would be a wrong way. You could have Asuka lose to Charlotte, sure, in the next couple of months. That's fine. But to have Asuka lose at Mania, I think that's a wrong way. I think that would hurt the mythos of Asuka. That's just my opinion, though. Sasha versus Bayley, reverse of Brooklyn with Sasha as face, Bayley as heel. If the rumors are to be believed, there was an article recently put out on With Spandex that there's apparently works for Bayley to be the heel in this situation, which I don't get, but okay. I mean, it'd be nice to see a different side of Bayley that we haven't seen. So sure. But yeah, I see Sasha Bayley at Brooklyn at SummerSlam. And it'll be interesting to see. I think, you know, with the way the fans have been going, maybe they will be cheering Sasha and booing Bayley. Yeah, Rude will get a push next year. Just so much going on right now. Yeah, I mean, and especially... Oh, man. I wouldn't want to be on SmackDown right now. You got AJ Styles and Nakamura. You got Daniel Bryan's back. Owens and Zayn. And, you know, one of my earlier predictions is that Daniel Bryan's going to join Owens and Zayn. And to have him join them now as a wrestler, there's so much going on. But if they don't go in that direction, honestly, I think Rude should be the top heel. I think Rude should be the top heel on SmackDown. What are the chances we will see the return of Team Canada? Well, depends on how long they want to keep Sanity going. You know, I like Sanity the way it is right now. You know, Killian Dane and You know, what's his name? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking. The German guy. Uh, you know, they're good. Eric Young is good with them. I don't know. You know, honestly, to see Eric Young and Bobby Roode again, it's not like ooh, I really wish they would do this, because I kind of like how, especially with Bobby Roode and Eric Young, I kind of like how they've been able to sort of establish themselves in the WWE universe. You know what I mean? And I don't want it to be the thing where always it's like, oh, NXT, Impact Wrestling guys come up to NXT and then they kind of do like their Impact Wrestling thing. You know, it's nice to have callbacks to certain people's allegiances and stuff to Impact Wrestling, but I like it when they sort of like maybe sort of just do a callback, but they don't necessarily acknowledge it. Because I think Roode and Eric Young fought in NXT briefly. I think like they had one match. But I don't know. I'd be more excited if James Storm came back and then he started teaming up with Bobby Roode. I'd be more excited for that than Eric Young and Bobby Roode, because I just always like their dynamic a lot more. But you know, and you know, the whole Team Canada thing. You know, I could see Eric Young. If Eric Young ever splits from Sanity, I could see Eric Young teaming with Owens and Zayn. You know, thoughts on the Rousey match? I think it's gonna be what it is. You know, Rousey is you know, she hasn't been in the wrestling ring a lot. I think it's gonna be a fun match. I think it's gonna be a lot of bells and whistles. I don't think it's gonna be like, you know, this classic brawl. But you know, it's an underrated match. An underrated match was Brie Bella against Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam. It wasn't like a Matt Classic. It wasn't like a 5-star wrestling match. But it was a fun, entertaining match that told a good story. I think that's what's going to happen with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon against Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. I think it's just going to be a fun match with a lot of bells and whistles, put in the middle of the card, you know, and it's going to get people excited. It's going to get people talking. I think there's a lot of room there for Ronda Rousey to throw around Triple H, and I think that's it's gonna be what it is. It's gonna be a fun, entertaining match. Probably it'll probably be better than the Roman Reigns Lesnar match. I know it sounds like I'm crapping hard on the Roman Reigns Lesnar match, but I am not looking forward to that match. You see Roode as the leader with Owens and Zayn. I don't think Roode and Owens would be able to coexist. I don't think they'd be able to coexist. I think Roode is too much of a big personality to be a part of a faction. For Roode to be in a faction, he would have to have guys who can be believably under him. I don't think there would be room for Owens and Zayn to be in a faction with him where Roode is seen as the leader. Honestly, I could see them sort of being a unit, like Owens and Roode. That's why I say Eric Young would probably fit better than Owens and Zayn, with Owens and Zayn, than Bobby Roode would. Because I could see Eric Young, even though he's the leader of Sanity, he's still sort of seen like just a little bit above them. He's just sort of seen like the guy who just like, you know, schedules everything. He doesn't seem like the boss. You know what I mean? Like Eric Young makes sure that they're at the right place at the right time. But he's not necessarily, you know, he's not the focal point. You know, they're much seen as a collective unit, and I think if you put like Eric Young with Owens and Zayn, that would be a sort of a similar situation. You put Bobby Roode in, it'd be like the whole thing. It's like, well, who's the star here? Who's the bigger deal? Who's making the calls? You know, it'd be a clash of egos. I don't know if it would work as well as them being like a unit. I think, you know, I think Shayna Baszler is gonna win the title off of Ember Moon, and I definitely do think that yeah, it's gonna be a gateway for a horsewomen match for next year's WrestleMania. I think, you know, a lot of people are giving Rousey a hard time, which I don't get. Oh, you know Hunter and Stephanie's entrance is going to be over the top. That's probably going to be the most expensive entrance. Especially with Stephanie coming in as a wrestler this year. You know, last year, I mean, in the past few years, she's always been a part of his entrance, but now she's coming in as a wrestler. You know, they're gonna play it up. It's gonna be the biggest thing. I'm interested to see what Rousey's attire is gonna be. Like, is she gonna have like an MMA style outfit? Is she gonna have like an Olympic, you know, judo outfit? You know, is she gonna have like a Kurt Angle kind of outfit? Like, are they gonna put her like in a wrestling singlet and stuff like that? Like, I'm interested to see what her outfit's gonna look like, because I think it'd be kind of easy to just put her in an MMA outfit. But then again, look at what Shayna Baszler wears, and Shayna Baszler wears her MMA outfit. So, you know, they could go that route. But I would kind of like to see her in like a pro wrestling outfit. Like, if her and Angle had like matching outfits, that'd be kind of cool. Not gonna lie, I would mark out a lot for that if they had matching outfits. Just like how, or maybe Kurt Angle could wear a matching MMA outfit, just like when he cosplayed as the Shield. But Stephanie and, let me see, last year they did like a like they have the Authority, and you know, I think they'll have like a power couple entrance, you know, maybe do like a Game of Thrones entrance, you know, where she's like the mother of dragons and he's the king of kings. I could see that happening. I could definitely see like them going back to like this medieval kind of entrance, just like how Triple H has done in the past. Maybe a combo of judo, MMA, Olympic. Yeah, like that would be so cool. Like, you know, sort of like how the Pride wrestlers used to dress when they would wrestle over in Japan. I could see something like that, like a judo MMA singlet. That'd be kind of cool, actually, if she. And you know, I think a lot of people, I don't know why they're giving her such a hard time. She was one of the best things in MMA, period, men or women's. She's super talented, super crazy good in that sense. She's an Olympic medalist. And yeah, okay, she hasn't wrestled yet. Excuse me. She hasn't wrestled yet. But when Kurt Angle showed up against Shawn Stasiak back in the day, he wasn't the Kurt Angle we all know him now. It took him a little bit. And he had a great year. He had a great first year. I think that Ronda Rousey this year's WrestleMania and Ronda Rousey's next year's WrestleMania is going to be night and day. I think she's going to improve so much once they start getting her in there. And I think it makes sense to put her with someone like Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle was pretty much in her position all those years ago. You know, a star in another sport, in a realistic sport, realistic wrestling sport, and now transitioning to the world of pro wrestling. There's a lot of similarities there between her and Kurt Angle. So I would like to see them, and you got to make her heel. And I think that's why they're doing this match, is like you have her become babyface for a little bit, because, you know, it's the brand new thing, but she's an MMA fighter. Like, her style is gonna, in the world of wrestling, her style is gonna be a more heel style, just based off of her MMA background. So I'm excited for the potential, because I think there's a lot of potential there. I think if you bring anyone outside of the world of wrestling into wrestling, you bring in someone who has an amateur wrestling background, you bring in someone who has an MMA background, who has a judo background, because I think their transition mat-wise is going to be a lot easier. And then she just got to work on the character. You know, she's just got to work on the character, which, if she's doing this full-time, which she is, you know, once she's done filming her movie, it's going to be like full-time. Especially if they want to build her up to wrestle against a Charlotte, a Becky Lynch, Asuka. You know, if they're going to want her to wrestle at that level, she's going to have to work on her character. She's going to have to work on her in-ring ability. And she's not the kind of person, I think, I mean, I don't know her personally, but just judging on what I've seen based on her training and her motivation for being in UFC and all that stuff, I see her being you know, I see her being really good, honestly. So the Rock Rousey event from the... Yeah, you know, it almost makes me wonder if, like, if it was, like, the kind of thing it's like, oh, Ronda Rousey's here. We should get her in. We should do something. And, like, it was kind of, like, thrown together last minute. And then they saw the reaction, and it was like, oh, my God, we have something here. And I think people expected it to be that, to be The Rock and Rousey. But, you know, you could still do that. You can still do the Rock and Rousey connection. You can even call it that, the Rock and Rousey connection. I messed up in the last Hardcore Championship path. I just realized it. I was supposed to lose that match after the APA, and I did it. I'm going to have to go back and fix that somehow. Oh, well. But I'll probably wrap up in a few minutes here. Just giving you fair warning. Let's say 3 o'clock. I'll wrap up. Who's gonna be my next champion? I should do a championship match real quick. Who should we have take the title off of Faarooq real quick? Do a real quick match with Faarooq. He's got to drop the title to someone. Who should we have him drop the title to? What am I doing? But you know, that's a good corner to work themselves in, right? It's like they worked themselves into a very profitable corner to set up in everyone's mind that we're gonna get a Ronda Rousey returning to WWE moment. It worked out for everyone, I think, involved. I just hope they don't, because the McMahons always like to make it about themselves. I just hope that we don't spend the whole next year having Stephanie McMahon feud with Ronda Rousey. Like, this is okay for now. You know, I'm interested in it now. But, like, you got small doses, guys. Small doses. Like, even with the Shane McMahon thing, thank goodness Daniel Bryan is coming back to wrestling. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, if this Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens feud and Sami Zayn feud doesn't end with Daniel Bryan coming back, then I am going to be very annoyed, because there's only so long I can see Shane McMahon wrestling with these guys. There's only so long I could do it with the McMahons. I don't mind it when they show up and they you know, insert themselves into these storylines, whatever. But like, I don't want a whole year of Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon. Do you see Ronda as the Steve Blackman Ken Shamrock mix? Well, Blackman wasn't a legit MMA fighter, so I see her more as Ken Shamrock. But I see her more as... So Ken Shamrock wasn't allowed to do what he was known for, and that was like legit people up. Yeah, they brought him in. They, you know, it was the world's strongest, world's dangerous man and stuff like that. But if you really go back and watch his matches, he was really handicapped. He couldn't do a lot of his MMA stuff. And I look at what they're doing with Shayna Baszler in NXT. They're really letting her tap into her MMA style. Who should I have beat Faarooq? I'm running out of options. We need a non-hardcore champion to win the hardcore championship. Against, who did I want before? I wanted Chyna. Yeah, I'm gonna do Chyna. I'm Chyna beat Faarooq. So I see Ronda being the better form of what Ken Shamrock could have been. Because if you really look back on it and you really look at the matches Ken Shamrock was involved in and the stuff he did, he wasn't really allowed to do a lot of the stuff that is possible now to do, because I don't think WWE at the time was ready to embrace MMA, because MMA was still, you know, kind of a new thing in that sense. So I see her being more of a Shamrock, less of a Blackman. I see her more of a Shamrock, but more of what Shayna's doing in NXT. I see Rousey doing similar, like pretty much the same, maybe with a few more wrestling thrown in. I I didn't choose Bradshaw because for these hardcore championship matches, I'm actually choosing people who were never hardcore champion. Although that probably would have been fun to have Bradshaw against Faarooq. Bradshaw is hardcore champion. I'm doing some what if scenarios. What if Chyna was hardcore champion? She could have been hardcore champion. It's gonna be interesting. Again, like, so Rousey's gonna be on Raw. So that's gonna be good because I think they're gonna put Asuka on SmackDown. Because Asuka's gonna win the championship from Charlotte, which is another reason why I don't think Charlotte's gonna win, is because you need to separate Asuka and Asuka and Rousey right now. You need to separate them. You can't have them on the same brand. You can't have them on Raw, because if you have them on Raw, then it's just basically you're going to be treading water, and Asuka is going to be dancing around Ronda Rousey, and everyone's going to want to see Ronda Rousey and Ronda Rousey and Asuka right away, and you can't have that because Rousey's not ready, and no one's ready for Asuka. But just realistically, it wouldn't be a great match right away. You know, give Rousey time to get on that level where she can have a really great match with Asuka. And so I think you do Rousey on Raw, and you have her beat. You have Angle and Rousey win. Or they actually, you know what? I don't think Rousey and Angle winning is a given. Because again, it's the McMahons. If it was The Rock, then Rock and Rousey definitely winning. Yeah, I see that. But now that it's Angle, I could sort of see Triple H pinning Angle. I could see Triple H pinning Angle and then setting up separate singles matches. I could see them setting up Angle against Triple H, and I could see them setting up Rousey and Stephanie McMahon, because I know they're gonna do Stephanie McMahon and Rousey one-on-one. I know they are, but I just don't want to see it like the whole year. You know what I mean? Maybe a few months, you know, end it at like TLC or something. And then for SummerSlam, have Rousey challenge whoever the women's champion is, which will probably still be Nia Jax. Or maybe, yeah, will probably still be Nia Jax. Because I don't think Bayley and Sasha are going to feud over the championship. I think they're going to feud within themselves. I think they're going to keep them away from the championship. Especially because they've just held the championships already a bunch. Chyna would have been a great hardcore champion. You know, and it would have made sense because, you know, with the hardcore championship, you could have done intergender wrestling, and she was already intercontinental champion, so that would have made a lot of sense. And she had that hardcore intercontinental match with Jeff Jarrett. House cleaning match. Oh man. But yeah, this year's WrestleMania, man, there's something about this year's WrestleMania that it, you know, I don't want to fall into the trap with WWE. You know, because like all other promotions, usually when a card looks good on paper, it ends up being really good. It's like that with Ring of Honor. It's like that with New Japan, with Lucha Underground, CMLL. You look at the card and you're like, wow, this looks like a great card. And then it ends up being a great card, you know? Whereas WWE, sometimes they have really good cards, and then it's just like, just wasn't as good as I thought it would be. So I'm hoping that's not the case this year, because this year's WrestleMania is a really good card. And if everyone sort of, you know, plays their role effectively, this might be one of the better WrestleManias in the past few years, and probably better than the last Orleans at WrestleMania, because that WrestleMania was pretty good. I remember really liking WrestleMania 30, and not just because of Daniel Bryan and Triple H, and, you know, Daniel Bryan winning at the end, but there was a lot of other good stuff on that card that just made that, You know, even that was the year that Cesaro won the Andre Battle Royal. You know, and it's like you can still do stuff like that this year. You can have a Rusev or a Samoa Joe. Maybe Samoa Joe returns and wins the Andre. You know, maybe Samoa Joe ends up being Braun Strowman's partner, even though I think they'll probably have Elias be his partner for comedy, because the WWE refuses to make the Tag Team Championship serious. That's a gripe I have with them. Yeah, that's the thing. It's got a lot of potential, man. When you've watched WWE for so long, you don't want to get too excited. And I think that's what helps, so that when it's actually really good, it was like the Royal Rumble. It's like, oh, Nakamura should win. But you don't want to go all in and say, oh, Nakamura is going to be my pick, because you don't want to get burned when it doesn't happen. It's like, oh, Cena won. Okay, you know, good thing I didn't pick Nakamura. You know, like, but then when Nakamura wins, you're jumping up and down. You're like, yes, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. You know, because you didn't have your expectations all the way up there. Because if you watch WWE long enough, you know you shouldn't. Because it's that much better when something does happen that you wanted to happen, but you kind of downplayed it happening. It's a weird relationship with WWE and being a wrestling fan with WWE, because it's like, you know, they're capable of doing these great things and having these great moments and letting people have great matches, but you just want to sort of not get too hyped, because then when it doesn't happen, you get upset and angry at them for it. Whereas if you just like play it cool and it's like, I knew they were gonna mess it up, you know, then it's okay. But yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good. But it is 3 o'clock, and I gotta call it a wrap. I wasn't planning on streaming tomorrow because I had something to do with a friend, but he actually just rescheduled me for Friday. So I think tomorrow I'm going to hop back on around the same time, 11 o'clock or so, during the day, Eastern time. And I'll probably stream about this time as well. So if you want to continue some more WrestleMania talk, we can. Thank you so much, Sayama and Michael, for being part of the conversation, and anyone else who was, you know, sort of just lurking in the shadows there. I see you guys. Don't worry about it. Great conversation today. Great WrestleMania talk. Great ideas for the Taker match, Cena match. You know, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But thank you so much for watching the stream. I am Be Better Gamer. If you haven't checked me out on YouTube, it's Be Better Gamer Wrestling. I have so much work to do in prettying up my Twitch, you know, presence and all that stuff. But youtube.com/Be Better Gamer Wrestling. I do a lot of Let's Plays and calls for a lot of the classic N64 wrestling games, No Mercy, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. I'm going to start playing other wrestling games as well. And yeah, tomorrow I'll rewatch the New Japan Cup Finals tonight, because I had it on the background. I'm glad Zack Sabre Jr. won. It looked like a hell of a match. I'm going to rewatch it. And maybe we can talk more about not just WrestleMania, but we got Strong Style Evolved this coming weekend. Wrestling is so good this time of year, but that's why I need to get on Twitch more so we could talk about it. But thank you so much, everyone, and until next time, yeah, keep watching all the wrestling, guys. Thank you. Take care.